Hello friends. The big question that we want to tackle today is, can the ancient wisdom make you a better leader in 2026? In this video we dive deep into Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 8 to uncover the secret of equanimity for modern executives, which is very essential. We will discover why the most successful CEOs aren't just masters of the market, they are the master of their own mind. Let us explore this further.
In the world of high-stake business, we are taught to chase the gold. We celebrate the record-breaking IPOs, the quarterly wins, and the market dominance. On the flip side, we are taught to fear the mud, the PR crisis, the missed targets, and the economic downturns. But as a CEO, and all CEO knows this constant oscillation between euphoria and anxiety is quite exhausting. It leads to burnout, biased decision making, and the leadership style that is reactive rather than strategic. What if there is a way to lead from the place of total stability, a state of mind where your internal peace isn't tied to the stock ticker? Over 7,000 years ago, a profound piece of wisdom was shared on a battlefield that is more relevant to the modern boardroom than any MBA syllabus. It comes from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 8. Today we are going to dive deep and break down how this one verse can transform you into an unshakable CEO. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let us look at the verse itself. The quote starts, "A person is said to be established in self-realization, and it's called a yogi when he is fully satisfied by the virtue of the acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stone, or gold, as one and the same thing." Quote close. For a CEO, this doesn't mean you stop caring about your company. It means you change your relationship with the results. The verse identifies three key areas, three key traits of the unshakable leaders. First, acquired knowledge combined with practical experience. Obviously, you can't shake that off. Number two, control over the senses, which includes your ego as well, and also different kinds of extensions that you may have. Number three, ability to see stones and mud and gold with an equal eye, right? That is quite difficult. Now let's get real about the gold and mud. Just look at your office. The gold is that massive Series C funding or being featured on the cover of Forbes magazine. When things are gold, your ego expands. We think we have figured it out, all of it. We become overconfident, take reckless risk, and lose the humility that built the company in the first place. The mud is the supply chain collapse, the key executive quitting, or the negative cycle, some sort of a press release which is negative in nature. When we hit the mud, we panic. We make short-term decisions based on fear, which often makes the situation worse. The Gita tells us that the self-realized leader sees these as equal. Why? Because they are both external and temporary. If your happiness is tied to the gold, you are a slave to the market. If your identity is destroyed by the mud, you aren't leading. You are merely reacting. The unshakable CEO realizes that the value of the soul and the integrity of the mission do not change based on the material outcome of the day. How do we actually implement this? It comes down to three pillars. Pillar number one, knowledge versus realization. Most CEOs have the gyan, which is book knowledge. They know the spreadsheet, but the Gita tells you to get into realized wisdom. This is the gut feeling backed by a calm mind. It is knowing that this too shall pass, right? So, what action you can take? When the crisis hit, don't just look at the data, sit in silence for 5 minutes to separate your identity from the problem. Alright, moving on to the pillar number 2, sensory mastery. In modern terms, this is the emotional intelligence. Your senses react to notification, angry emails, and market rumors. A leader, who has a filter, they can choose which input to react to. They don't let a bad morning meeting ruin a $1 billion afternoon strategy, right? You need to keep them separate. Moving on to pillar number 3, the equal vision. This is the hardest part. Seeing gold and stones as equal doesn't mean you trade gold for stones. It means you don't let the gold intoxicate you and you don't let the stones depress you. You remain your behavior is very steadfast like a rock, the unchanging center of the storm. When you become unshakable, your decisions making capability improves. In fact, it improves so good it becomes clinical in nature. Think of a surgeon. A surgeon cannot afford to be excited by the patient's wealth or disgusted by their wounds. They must see their anatomy as it is to perform the operation. The unshakable CEO performs market surgery because you aren't desperate for the gold or terrified of the mud. You see the truth of the situation. You see opportunities where others see disaster. You see risk where others see easy wins. This objectivity is the highest form of business intelligence. Becoming an unshakable CEO isn't the weekend workshop. It's a daily practice of returning to your center. So friends, next time when you are in a high pressure meeting or the next time you are in celebrating some sort of a win, a massive win, remember chapter 6 verse 8. Ask yourself, am I reacting to the gold or am I standing on the rock? Success is a byproduct of the steady mind. Build the mind and the business will follow. If this ancient perspective on the modern leadership resonates with you, hit the subscribe button, share this with your fellow leaders who need to find their center today. Lead with wisdom, lead with peace, become an unshakable CEO. So we have come to the end of our session today. Before I move on to the next section, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Hello friends, welcome to Akulmach Live. The global economy is at the crossroads. In this video, we break down why the next 72 hours are the most critical window for 2026 for investors, for business leaders, and also for the policymakers. With the outbreak of conflict in the Middle East and the recent IMF World Economic Outlook warning of a drop in the global growth rate to 3.1%, and therefore the stakes has never been so high. So what we got to do, what we should be aware of, stick around because we are going to discuss all of this.
Right now, as you're watching this, a timer is ticking. It isn't just a countdown for a market opening or a single earning report. We're entering a 72-hour window that historians may look back on as the definitive pivot point for the global economy in 2026. So why now? Because we are seeing a perfect storm and it is converging. We have a volatile conflict in the Middle East that is threatening the world's most vital energy arteries. We have an IMF that just sounded the alarm on the growth slowdown, and within the next 3 days, we expect the decisions that will determine if we face a controlled landing or a systemic fracture. By the time this 72-hour window closes, the cost of your energy, value of your currency, and the safety of your investment could look radically different. And here is exactly what is happening behind the scenes. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's move ahead. The first pillar of this 72-hour crisis is the energy. As of today, which is April 22nd, 2026, the volatility in the Middle East has moved past rhetoric. Markets are currently pricing in a worst-case disruption scenario. If the next 3 days sees an escalation that impact the Strait of Hormuz, we aren't just looking at $100 per barrel oil. We are looking at the supply side shock that could paralyze the European and Asian manufacturing. But it's not just about pricing at the pump. It's about the inflation ghost. Just as the central bank thought they had a handle on the rising price, the energy spike threatened to send the projected 2026 inflation rate of 4.4% or even higher. In this next 72 hours, look for the energy pivot. If the prices break past key resistance level, the global manufacturing sector will go into a defensive mode, and that means layoff and stalled growth. While the headline focus on the conflict, the underlying math is equally terrifying. Last week, the IMF released the World Economic Outlook. The headline was grim. The global growth is projected to fall to 3.1%. Imagine, only 3.1%. But the real story is in the next 72 hours of the diplomatic response. Financial leaders are currently meeting to decide if they will coordinate a liquidity injection or if it's if every nation for itself. We are seeing a massive divergence. While some economies are showing resilience, others, particularly in the developing world, are facing a debt wall. If we don't see a collaborative signal from the G7 or the IMF in these 3-day window, we could see a flight to quality that strip emerging markets of their remaining capital. This is the great repricing of 2026, and it is happening in real time as we speak. When the world gets scared, money moves fast. In the next 72 hours, we are watching the 3 safe havens, which is gold, US dollars, and increasingly digital assets. Gold has already been hitting the record high, but the next 3 days will test its ceiling. If we see a breakout, it's a signal that the big institutional players have lost faith in a quick diplomatic resolution. Simultaneously, the US dollar is weaponizing itself again. As the dollar strengthens, it puts immense pressure on every other currency for businesses in London, Tokyo, or New Delhi. A 72-hour surge in the dollar market, makes their imports more expensive and their debt harder to pay. Watch the currency pairs closely. The tipping point is usually a 3-day trend that becomes month-long slide. So, what does this mean for people like you and me? The next 72 hours aren't about panic; they are about positioning. If you are an investor, watch the $100 oil per barrel mark and the 10-year treasury yield. If you are a business owner, look at your supply chain exposure in the Middle East. And if you are just watching your personal finances, understand that the low inflation era we hoped for is being challenged by these 72 hours of geopolitical reality. The world moves fast, but the economy moves in cycles. We are at the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. We'll be monitoring every headline, every market tick, and every diplomatic cable as they come in. Make sure you subscribe in a window. This is very critical. Being 24-hour late is the same being absolutely wrong. So stay vigilant. The clock is running, and I'll see you in the next update, my friends. Before I wind up, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, the universe isn't just expanding, it is going somewhere. From the mysterious great attractor to the inevitable big freeze, where everything actually heading? That's a very big question that we want to address today. In this video, we trace the ultimate trajectory of every star, galaxy, and atom in existence. Have you ever wondered about the final destination of the cosmos while we go about our daily lives? Our Milky Way galaxy is screaming through space at 2.2 million kilometers per hour. But where it is going, what is pulling it? Let us discuss this further.
On a clear night, the universe looks like a photograph, frozen, eternal. But the truth is, we are living inside a cosmic stampede. Right now, you are sitting on a planet that is spinning at 1600 kilometers per hour. The planet is orbiting a star at 107,000 kilometers per hour. The star is dragging us around the center of the Milky Way at 800,000 kilometers per hour, but even the galaxy itself isn't sitting still. Our entire island universe is screaming through the void towards a destination we cannot see, and the overall speed at which we are moving right now is 2.2 million kilometers per hour. Everything, every star, every black hole, every atom is on a journey, but where is it actually going? Is there a finish line? Or is the universe just running away from itself? Today, we are tracing the ultimate trajectory of the cosmos from the great attractor to big freeze. We are looking at the final map of the existence itself. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. To understand where we are going, we have to look at our neighborhood. We live in a Lanakia supercluster, a massive web of 100,000 galaxies spanning 500 million light years. For decades, the astronomer noticed something strange. The Milky Way and our neighboring galaxies aren't just drifting, they are being pulled. We are moving towards a specific region of space hidden behind the zone of avoidance, an area obscured by our own galaxy's dust, and therefore we actually cannot see clearly what is where we are going and what is pulling our galaxies. We call this mystery the great attractor. It's the gravitational anomaly so massive it is warping the movement of the galaxies across hundreds of millions of light years. It's like cosmic drain, and we are the water circling it. But here is the twist. We will likely never arrive at that point. Why? Because while gravity is trying to pull us together, something else is trying to rip us apart. In the late 1990s, we discovered the universe isn't just expanding, it is accelerating. This is thanks to the dark energy, a mysterious force that makes up roughly about 68% of the universe. Think of it like this. Gravity is the glue trying to hold the room together, but the dark energy is the floor constantly stretching in every direction. Because space is expanding faster than the speed of light at great distances, the great attractor is actually losing the tug of war. Eventually, the expansion will become so fast that even the pull of the Lanakia won't be enough to hold us into this particular group. We are entering an era of the great divorce. In few billion years, every galaxy outside our local group will disappear beyond the cosmic horizon. They will be moving away so fast that their light will never reach us again. We will be left in a lonely, dark neighborhood. So if we aren't hitting the great attractor, what is our immediate destination then in that case? So in about 4.5 billion years, our own galaxy has a date with destiny. The Andromeda galaxy is currently heading straight for us at 110 kilometers per second, very high speed. This isn't a crash, it's a dance. The two galaxies will pass through each other, their stars rarely colliding because the space is so empty. Gravity will eventually pull them back together, merging them into a single massive elliptical galaxy dubbed as Milkomeda. By the time this happens, our sun will have become a red giant, likely swallowing the earth. The solar system as we know it will be done. But the atoms that made up our body will be part of the brand new giant star system. But where does the journey finally end? If the expansion continues forever, we reach the ultimate destination, the big freeze, also known as the heat death of the universe. As the space stretches, the gas needed to create stars become too thin. One by one, the light of the universe goes out. The stelliferous era ends, which is known for star formation, and therefore the stars will stop forming. And the degenerate era will begin. Only white dwarf, neutron stars, and black hole will remain. The black hole era will be the third one when black holes eventually evaporate through Hawking radiation. So, what is left? A universe at a uniform temperature of nearly absolute zero, no energy, no movement, no time. Everything that was once a planet, a person, or a galaxy will be reduced to thin mist of photons and electrons drifting in an infinite cold dark. It sounds bleak, but look at in another way. We are living in the golden age of the universe, a brief, brilliant window where the stars are close enough to see and the galaxies are close enough to touch. Everything is moving away, yes, but that makes the fact that we are here right now witnessing it, and all the more miraculous things are going to happen in the near future. We might not like where the universe is going, but we can only imagine what a view we have on the way there, right? So friends, thanks for watching, and if you want to keep exploring the edge of the cosmos, subscribe and join for the next journey. Until next time, before we wind up today's session, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सबका स्वागत है। हम अब क्योंकि सोमवार है तो महामृत्युंजय का जाप करेंगे। आंखें बंद कर लीजिए, हाथ जोड़ लीजिए और शंकर भगवान का नमन करिए। ओम त्र्यंबकम वजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्यो मोक्षीय महामृतात् सज्ञो जातम प्रपाघमि भगवंत मृत्युम जय शिवम अभयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम वजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्यो मोक्षीय महामृतात् सज्ञो जातम प्रपाघमि भगवंत मृत्युम जय शिवम अभयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्यो मोक्षीय महामृतात्
संज्ञोजातं प्रपागमि भगवंत मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। दोस्तों, आप सबका दिन मंगलमय हो, इसी कामना के साथ इस वीडियो को यहीं समाप्त करते हैं। जल्दी मिलता हूं दूसरे वीडियो में। Hello friends, welcome to Executive Learning Session. In today's high pressure corporate world, CEOs are often obsessed with the quarterly reports. But what if focusing less on the result actually would lead to better performance? That's a very big and profound question. Therefore, today in this video, we break down the profound leadership wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. And we will also explore how it serves as a blueprint for the modern mindful executives. We explore the concept of Karma Yogi, a leader who performs their duty with intense focus and excellence without becoming slave to the result. So therefore, friends, stick around with this thought and let's explore this further. Picture this. It's 11 p.m. on a Sunday and you're starting working at a spreadsheet. You have got a quarterly board meeting in 48 hours. The numbers aren't where they need to be and your heart is racing. Your sleep is now non-existent and your identity, your very worth as a leader is tied entirely to the bottom right cell of the screen, right? This happens to everybody, isn't it? Well, we have been taught that the greatest leader who you must be result driven. We must obsess over KPIs, exit strategies, and stock prices. But here is a paradox: the more tightly you grip the result, the more likely you are likely to choke the process that creates it. Today, I want to share a piece of wisdom that is 7,000 years old, yet feels like it was written for this morning market volatility. It's from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, first verse of chapter 6. It is a verse that redefines what it means to be a yogi and by extension what it means to be a leader. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Let's proceed further. So now let's look at the verse. Quote starts: a true yogi or a true renunciant is the one who performs his duty renouncing attachment to result, and not one who abandons work or the sacrificial fire. Quote close. Now, when we hear the word yogi or renunciant, we think of someone sitting on a mountain far away from emails and supply chain issues. But Bhagwan Krishna says something radical here. He says the true yogi is not the one who quits. It's the one who stopped doing the work. It's also not that. In business context, Krishna is saying you don't have to quit your job to find peace. You don't have to stop being ambitious. The sacrificial fire for CEO is the office, the factory, and the boardroom. The distinction isn't whether you work, it's how you relate to outcome of what works, etc. So, what is the result paradox? So when we attach to the result, we operate from a place of fear. Fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of looking bad. When the brain is in the fear mode, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for high level strategy and innovation, shuts down. Attachment creates tunnel vision. You become so focused on the win that you miss the ethical red flags or the innovative pivot that could have saved your company. Attachment creates fragility. If your happiness depends on the green KPI, a red KPI will shatter your confidence completely. So, Gita suggests a better way. Perform your karma, the duty at hand. Imagine the professional athlete. If a golfer is thinking about a trophy while they are, mid swing, they will miss the shot. To win the trophy, they must forget the trophy exists and focus entirely on the mechanics of the swing. That is leading without attachment. The verse mentioned not abandoning their sacrificial fire. In ancient times, this was the literal fire of ritual. Today, for a leader, it is the energy of the action. Leading without attachment does not mean leading without excellence. In fact, it requires more excellence. When you aren't worried about how the result will make you look, you are free to be. There are several things you are free to be. First is bold, because you aren't afraid of the fallout. Second is the present, because you aren't living in the future quarter. And third is the objective, because you see the data for what it is, not what you want it to be. A true CEO, which is yogi, performs their duty because it is the right thing to do, not because it means something to, earn your bonus, etc. They treat their company as a sacrifice, a contribution to the world. So, how do we actually do this? How do we walk into the board meeting tomorrow and lead without the attachment? There are few ideas which I want to share with you. First is shift from what to how. Instead of asking, will they reach the target? Ask, are we executing this with the highest level of integrity and skill? If the process is perfect, the result is inevitable, and it's the inevitable byproduct. Second, the 5 minute de-tether. Before a high stake pitch, take 5 minutes to remind yourself, I have a right to work, but not to the fruits. Tell yourself that your value as a human being is independent of this deal. Watch how much more charismatic and calm you would become before you get into the meeting. Now, the third idea is reward effort, not just outcome. So, as a leader, stop only celebrating the wins. Start celebrating the karma as well. The disciplined, high quality effort, even when it doesn't lead to a win, this builds a culture of psychological safety. So, Bhagavad Gita isn't asking you to be less ambitious. In fact, it is asking you to be freer. So, when you stop being a slave to the result, you become master of your actions. You will become unshakable executive. You will still show up and you still, the light of fire, and you still do the work, but you do it with a smile, knowing that while you cannot control the wind, you can always control how you set your sail. So, friends, what do you think? Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining live. Let's go back to the fire and do the work. And if you have any questions, please feel free to send it across. Before I wind up this session, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. हेलो दोस्तों, नमस्कारम। आप सबका स्वागत है। आज हम स्पेसएक्स के आईपीओ के बारे में बात करेंगे। आपको सबको पता होगा कि रिसेंटली एक स्पेसएक्स का बहुत बड़ा एक आईपीओ आया है मार्केट में। आपने क्या उसमें निवेश किया है या सोच रहे हैं? एलन मस्क की कंपनी स्पेसएक्स शेयर मार्केट में एक धमाकेदार एंट्री ले चुकी है और आज हम इस वीडियो में बात करेंगे कि लिस्टिंग के बाद शेयरों में क्यों ऐसी इतना उछाल आया है, रॉकेट जैसी तेजी से बाजार में उछाल आया है और बाजार ने इतना पॉजिटिव रिएक्शन क्यों दिया है, इसके बारे में हम चर्चा करते हैं। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। दोस्तों 12 जून 2026 को ये स्पेसएक्स का जो आईपीओ था वो लिस्ट हुआ था स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे। और ये एक मामूली आईपीओ नहीं है, ये दुनिया का अब तक का सबसे बड़ा आईपीओ था। ट्रिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स की बात हो रही है इसमें। एलन मस्क की कंपनी ने शेयर बाजार में कदम रखा, पहली दफा रखा है और इसने इस कदम रखते ही तूफान आ गया है, बहुत ज़्यादा तेजी से आगे बढ़ा है। और हम इसकी बात करेंगे, जब इसकी बात कर रहे हैं तो इसकी वैल्यू ऑलरेडी 2.1 ट्रिलियन का मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन कर चुकी है कुछ ही घंटों में, कुछ ही दिनों के अंदर। तो हम अपना एनालिसिस चालू रखेंगे, लेकिन दोस्तों अगर आप यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं तो हमें कमेंट करके बताएं कि कौन से सिटी से आप हमारा ये प्रोग्राम देख रहे हैं और किस लैंग्वेज में आप ये वीडियो देखना चाह रहे हैं। तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। सबसे पहले नंबर्स की बात करते हैं। स्पेसएक्स ने आपके शेयरों जो शेयर था वो $135 के ऊपर लिस्ट किया था और मतलब कि जो स्टार्टिंग प्राइस है $135 है, मार्केट खुलेगा तो 135 से लिस्ट होगा। अब वहाँ पे जब खुलता है मार्केट तो उसके बाद ऊपर भी जाता है, नीचे भी जाता है, लेकिन सबको हैरान कर दिया। शेयरों ने जल्दी मार्केट खुलते ही 19% की उछाल मारी और डे का जो बिजनेस बंद होते होते 160.95 मतलब 135 पे ये चालू हुआ था और दिन के अंत होते होते $160.95 तक पहुंच गया। ये पर शेयर की प्राइस है। अब इसका सीधा मतलब ये है कि महज एक दिन में ही कंपनी की वैल्यूएशन 2.1 ट्रिलियन तक पहुंच गई और ये 21 बैंकों के सिंडिकेट द्वारा मैनेज किया गया एक विशाल ऑपरेशन था, जिसे इंटरनली एक प्रोजेक्ट एपेक्स के नाम दिया गया है। जो स्पेसएक्स ने इस प्रोजेक्ट को प्रोजेक्ट एपेक्स दिया गया है और ये ग्लोबल एक आईपीओ है जिसमें अमेरिकन तो इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन दुनिया में कोई भी इंसान इसमें इन्वेस्ट कर सकता है। अब ये इन्वेस्ट करना क्यों जरूरी है, देखिए स्पेसएक्स जो कंपनी है एक प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, लेकिन उन्होंने एक बीड़ा उठाया है कि हम एक दूसरे ग्रह पे इंसानों को पहुंचाएंगे और वहां पे कॉलोनी बनाएंगे। तो ये अकेले तो कंपनी कर नहीं सकती। अगर अगर अकेले भी करे तो फिर वो कंपनी की एक प्रॉपर्टी हो जाती है, जैसे ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ने भारत पे अटैक कर दिया था 200 साल पहले, 300 साल पहले। तो अगर ये मार्स पे जाते हैं तो इनकी हो जाती है। लेकिन अगर अगर ये आईपीओ है और इसको शेयर मार्केट में लोगों ने पब्लिक ने इन्वेस्ट किया इसके अंदर, तो सबकी इसमें हिस्सेदारी हो जाती है। एक ये पब्लिक कंपनी बन जाती है, जिससे कि अगर वहाँ पे इस्टेब्लिश किया जाए तो जितने भी शेयर होल्डर्स हैं उनका पहला हक बन जाता है। तो इसीलिए ये जो आईपीओ है ये इतना इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाता है और इसी की वजह से जो लोग हैं काफ़ी एक्साइटेड हैं स्पेस एक्स में इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए। आप देखिए 2.1 ट्रिलियन हो गया, ये अब तक का सबसे बड़ा आईपीओ है दुनिया में। अब सवाल है कि आखिर इस कंपनी में ऐसा क्या है और ये सिर्फ क्या रॉकेट बनाने वाली कंपनी है। तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं कि इसमें इतना एक्साइटमेंट क्यों आ रहा है लोगों को। सबसे पहले देखिए स्टारलिंक। स्टारलिंक जो एक कंपनी है इलॉन मस्क की, ये इंटरनेट प्रोवाइड करती है। तो ये इनका एक पार्टनरशिप है स्पेस एक्स के साथ, जो भी इलॉन मस्क की कंपनी है। तो स्टारलिंक अगर नहीं है स्पेस एक्स के साथ तो कम्युनिकेशन कितना डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है। अगर मार्स में पहुंच गए तो कम्युनिकेट कैसे करेंगे, इंटरनेट कैसे चलेगा, ईमेल कैसे आएगी। तो उसके लिए स्टारलिंक है और जिसके वजह से जो स्पेस एक्स है वो स्टारलिंक के टेक्नोलॉजी को लेवरेज कर सकता है जब वो मार्स में अपनी कॉलोनी बनाए। इसके अलावा इनके पास इलेक्ट्रिक कार्स हैं, इनके पास इलेक्ट्रिक बैटरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जो टेस्ला है वो है। तो जब मार्स में जाएंगे तो उनको बैटरी बैकअप इक्विपमेंट लगेगा, वहाँ पे मार्स पे चलने वाली गाड़ियाँ लगेंगी। तो वो सब बनाने का जो टेक्नोलॉजी है वो टेस्ला के पास है। तो स्पेस एक्स हो गया आपका, टेस्ला हो गया आपका, स्टारलिंक हो गया। उसके बाद एलॉन मस्क की टनलिंग कंपनी है, बोरिंग कंपनी है, जो टनल बनाती है जमीन के अंदर। तो मार्स पे जाएंगे तो जमीन के ऊपर रहेंगे या जमीन के नीचे कंस्ट्रक्शन वगैरह करना पड़ेगा, तो उसके लिए उनके पास टेक्नोलॉजी टनलिंग की होगी, जो बोरिंग करते हैं जमीन के अंदर, जिसमें बड़ी बड़ी ट्रेन चलाते हैं, तो वो होगा। अब ट्रेनों की बात हुई है तो इनके पास हाइपर लूप, आपने सुना होगा, कुछ साल पहले इन्होंने कंपनी स्टार्ट की थी हाइपर लूप की, जो जो जमीन के अंदर, टनल के अंदर एक ट्रेन चलती है बिना किसी इंजन के, सिर्फ वैक्यूम से चलती है, तो वो भी इनके पास है। तो आप समझिए कि जो स्पेस सेक्स है एक बहुत ही सीरियस कंटेंडर है, और इनके पास बहुत सारी और टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं जिससे स्पेस में जाके और फिर वहाँ मार्स पे लैंड करके और उसके बाद वहाँ पे कॉलोनी स्टैब्लिश करने का पूरा इन्होंने बेसिक बेसिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ऑलरेडी खड़ा कर दिया है। अब बात करते हैं एआई की। तो इलॉन मस्क की एक और कंपनी है जिसका नाम है एक्स एआई। ये जो कंपनी है ये इसको उन्होंने स्टारलिंक के साथ मर्ज कर दिया है। और आप देखिए ग्रॉक उनका जो एआई है जो ट्विटर पे चलता है, जिसको हम एक्स प्लेटफॉर्म बोलते हैं आज की डेट में, तो ये एक पावर हाउस है जो एआई एनेबल्ड मशीनरी, एआई एनेबल्ड सिस्टम्स जो मार्स पे इस्टेब्लिश करने में सहायता करेगा, और ये इन्हीं के खुद का ओनरशिप है एलॉन मस्क का। तो इसकी वजह से लोग इसको देखते हैं कंपनी को, स्पेसएक्स को, कि ये अकेली एक रॉकेट बनाने वाली कंपनी नहीं है, इसके पीछे काफ़ी स्ट्रैटेजिक सॉल्यूशंस खड़े हैं जो इसी इकोसिस्टम से आते हैं। तो चलिए, मैंने काफ़ी एक्सप्लेन किया इसके बारे में। अब आगे बढ़ते हैं कि देखिए, ये आईपीओ है तो मार्केट रिस्क तो होगा ही इसके अंदर, तो अपने होशो हवास ना खोएं। सोच समझ के अगर आप इन्वेस्ट करना चाह रहे हैं तो पूरा एनालिसिस करें, अपना एनालिसिस करके, और आपका लॉस एंड प्रॉफिट का एनालिसिस करके तभी इन्वेस्ट करें, क्योंकि मार्केट तो इस कंपनी पे भी वैसे ही लगेगा जैसे हर कंपनी पे लगता है। तो मार्केट वॉलेटिलिटी का ध्यान रखें, अपने होशो हवास खो के और इमोशंस में आके इन्वेस्ट ना करें, क्योंकि हर कोई ऐसा ही नहीं करता है, पूरा फ्यूचर और बैकग्राउंड फोरग्राउंड देख के करता है। अगर आप भारतीय निवेशक हैं और इसमें इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं तो ये सेंसेक्स ऑफ निफ्टी के थ्रू भी ये इन्वेस्ट किया जा सकता है। एक प्रोसेस है जो हमारे जो स्टॉक एक्सचेंजेस हैं वो प्रोवाइड करते हैं कि कैसे फॉरेन ट्रेड के अंदर आप इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। उसके लिए कुछ कागजी कार्रवाई करनी पड़ती है, तो वो एक स्टैंडर्ड कागजी कार्रवाई है। तो आप इंडिया में होते हुए भी स्पेस एक्स में इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। तो इलॉन मस्क ने मतलब जैसे ही ये स्टॉक मार्केट में आया, आईपीओ आया, वो एक ट्रिलियनियर बन गए हैं, दुनिया के पहले ट्रिलियनियर कहलाएंगे वो, क्योंकि आजकल तो बिलियनियर्स का ज़माना है, लेकिन वो ही अकेले ऐसे हैं जो ट्रिलियनियर बन गए हैं इस आईपीओ के आने के बाद। तो दोस्तों, ऑल इन ऑल ये जो आईपीओ है काफ़ी पॉजिटिव लग रहा है, लेकिन जैसे मैंने कहा पहले कि आप एनालिसिस पूरा करें, उसके बाद ही इसमें आगे बढ़े अगर आप इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं। लेकिन ओवरऑल काफ़ी पॉजिटिव न्यूज़ लग रही है इस आईपीओ के वजह से, तो इसके बारे में आपसे मैं चर्चा करना चाहता था। और मैं ये भी चाहता था कि आप सारी चीज़ों को समझें, और इसलिए मैंने एक चीज़ को आपको समझाने की कोशिश भी की इस वीडियो के अंदर। तो दोस्तों, अगर आपके कोई और सवाल हैं तो ज़रूर हमें कमेंट करके बताएं। मिलता हूं अगले वीडियो में। जय हिंद।
Hello friends, welcome to chapter number 2, which is about how to apply gesso. So I will explain everything to you. I will tell you what is gesso, why it is so important, etc. This is the chapter number 2. First chapter was dedicated on how to apply the masking tape. As you can see, I have actually applied the masking tape all across the border. I plan to apply masking tape for dividing the sections on this painting also, which I will cover in the subsequent chapters. All right, so let's go back to our main topic, which is gesso. Gesso is required. Let me first show you what is gesso. So I am using a gesso from a company called Art Cover. You can see this is which I use always, and I prefer using this because this has given beautiful results. All right, so this gesso is a basic compound. Basically, it gets applied on the canvas. Couple of things it does for the painting. Number one is it actually it's basically opaque. It makes the entire white surface as completely opaque white. So when it is opaque, that means when the painting is ready, there will be no significant light reflection, and the change of color will not happen. So it will make your canvas completely opaque, and then it will be very good for receiving colors. So if the white portion, which is the background of your painting, is completely opaque and pure white, then it is much more receptive to receive oil colors or acrylic color. So gesso is used for primarily for preparing your canvas, especially for oil colors as well as for acrylic. Since I am using my canvas to make oil painting, I will be applying the same gesso and then do my oil painting. There are a couple of other things it does. First of all, it actually makes it opaque. It makes it very even. So gesso, once it is applied, it settles in a very even, uniform canvas. As you can see right now, whether I'm not sure whether the camera is doing justice, but there are few wrinkles, because cloth will always have a wrinkle. So there are few wrinkles, and you don't want these wrinkles to appear on your painting. So that is why you need to apply gesso. Well, many people go ahead with their painting, their artwork without applying gesso, but then these are the drawbacks. So if you are if you want to convert your creativity into a long term beautiful lasting piece, make sure that you have your planning done, and also apply gesso before you even start doing anything with your painting. So I explained why you need gesso. This gesso is pure white. It is water soluble. You can just take it and use this kind of roller. You can also use brush, but then brush will leave its marking. But if you use roller like this one, this is a small roller which I use, so I recommend that you also use the roller, because this one will not leave any marking on the while applying the gesso. Once you have applied the gesso, make sure that gesso is applied after you put the border masking tape. As in the previous chapter I have explained, I have actually applied the masking tape to create the border. So once you have done that, then you can apply the gesso, so that you know exactly how big your painting would be, and what elements you need to bring into your paintings. Once the gesso is applied, it's actually different kinds of varieties of gessos are there. There is a fast drying gesso, there is a slow drying gesso. So if you are applying, depending on what you are planning to do, you can actually take fast drying gesso, which I have taken. It will get dry within 30 minutes. But once I apply the gesso, I will actually like to wait for 1 or 2 days, because I don't want anything to I don't want to give any chance for any wet surfaces of my painting. Obviously this is a water based compound and it has to get dried, and it also depends on the weather. So if you are in a cold country, gesso will take longer to dry. I mean, the water will take longer to dry, which gesso will is pre-mixed with. So make sure that there are certain things that you should look after. And once you have applied the gesso, once the canvas is completely dried, then it has become a base canvas for your painting to start with. So this is chapter number 2. I have told you why you need a gesso, how to apply gesso, and therefore this is something which you must keep in mind while planning your painting. Alright, so in the next chapter we will actually segmentize our painting. I will tell you how to use masking tape to segmentize your painting, so that you don't waste color and then overlap different colors when you start making your paintings. All right, so that will be chapter number 3. So I will see you in chapter number 3. Make sure that you follow these instructions and prepare your canvas using gesso. See you in the next one.
Hello friends, let me ask you, are you striving for perfection or are you seeking the essence of the leadership? It's a very profound question, and therefore to answer this, we dive deep into one of the most profound leadership lessons from Bhagavad Gita. While many CEOs focus on KPIs, scaling and operational perfection, the Gita reveals a deeper level of mastery that only a fraction of leaders ever reach. How this works? Let's explore this further. To most CEO spending their entire lives, climbing the ladder. They climb the corporate ladder, they climb the revenue charts, and they climb the industry rankings. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Reaching the top of the mountain is not the same thing as mastering the mountains. In the world of high stake business, we are obsessed with perfection. We want perfect systems, perfect quarters, and perfect products. But ancient wisdom suggests that the perfection is merely the entrance fee. It is not the final destination. Thousands of years ago, on a battlefield of a different kind, Bhagwan Krishna spoke a verse that serves as a startling wake-up call for the modern leaders. And this is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 verse 3, and it says, quote starts, among the thousands of men hardly one strive for perfection, and of those who strive and succeed hardly one knows me in essence, quote close. Today we are going to look at why most leaders stop at the first half of that verse, and why the essence is the secret to the world's most enduring legacies. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's look at the first part of the verse. Bhagwan Krishna acknowledges that even striving for perfection is rare. In business, striving for perfection is what we call the operational excellence. It is the Six Sigma, the lean management, the 80-hour work week. Out of the thousands of entrepreneurs, only a handful actually have the discipline to build a perfect machine. If you are a CEO, you are likely mastered this. You know how to optimize, you know how to win, etc., etc. But here is a trap. The perfection is static. Perfection is about following the rules of the game better than anyone else. And if you strive for perfection, you are a master of the mechanics, but you are not yet master of the essence. Most CEO get stuck here because the rewards for perfections are high. You get the bonuses, accolades, and the market share. You think you made it, but the Gita warns us that this is the only first filter. Now the second half of the verse, quote starts, even amongst those who have attained the perfection, hardly a soul understand me in essence, quote close. For a CEO, what is this essence? If perfection is how, essence is the why, and if perfection is the form, essence is the force. Think of the difference between CEO who builds a successful phone company and someone like Steve Jobs. Thousands could be build a functional smartphones, etc. That is perfection. But Jobs understood the essence of human connection and beauty, and that is the essence. In Sanskrit, this is known as tattva. Now let's discuss about how to understand the essence. Seeing the invisible is the first aspect of understanding. Knowing the pulse of your culture when you aren't in the room. That is such a key here. Knowing the pulse of your culture when you're not even watching, right? Number two is predicting the shift. Understanding the fundamental laws of human desire before the data shows them. Third is detached action. Leading with a sense of purpose that isn't tied to the ego of the result, right? Most leaders miss this because they are too busy looking at the success. They are blinded by their own brilliance. Why is it that hardly one understands the essence? Because understanding the essence requires unlearning. To reach the perfection, you need a strong ego. You need to believe you are the smartest person in the room. But to understand the essence, you must surrender the ego. You have to admit that the business doesn't move because of you, but through you. In the Gita, Bhagwan Krishna is the source of all the things. In business, the essence is the fundamental truth of your industry and your impact on humanity. When a CEO understands the essence, they stop reacting to competitors, they start responding to the truth, they move from managing people to moving souls. So ask yourself today, where are you on this path? Are you the one of the thousands who hasn't yet started the journey towards perfection? Or are you among the successful few who have built a perfect machine but feels like something is still missing? The Gita doesn't tell us this is, to discourage us. It tells us this to show how much more is possible. The greatest leader in history, the one who we talked for centuries, were the ones who moved past the how and touched the essence. They didn't just build the companies; they understood the fundamental laws of universe and applied them to their work. Your challenge this week, therefore, is look past your spreadsheet, look past your KPI, ask yourself, what is the essence of what we are doing here? Because perfection is the destination, but essence is the beginning. So friends, thanks for watching. And if you're already moved from perfection to essence, subscribe for more leadership insight from world greatest wisdom traditions, which is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across. Before I wind up, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. For decades, the thick yellow-orange clouds of Venus have hidden a secret. While we have understood the upper atmosphere, the lower haze has remained one of the planetary science's greatest enigma until now. In this video, we dive into the groundbreaking discovery that reveals the true source of this mysterious layer, which is cosmic dust. Let's go and find this out. Venus is often called as Earth's evil twin. At first glance, it is the same size, has the same composition and sits right next door in our solar system. But beneath that beautiful glowing facade lies a nightmare. Surface temperature hot enough to melt lead, atmospheric pressures that would crush a submarine, and thick cloud of corrosive sulfuric acid. For over 50 years since the first probe, like the US, beg your pardon, Soviet Vanra and NASA's Pioneer Venus descended into the toxic soup, scientists have been haunted by the specific mystery. Most of the Venus's clouds sit between 47 and 70 kilometers up, but deep below that, below the cloud cover in the lower haze, there is a layer of mysterious particles that shouldn't be there by all accounts. And what causes these particles to float in that area, it was a mystery. So what created them? Why won't they go away? For half a century, we had no answers. But today in 2026, a team of researchers from Tokuwu University and the Royal Belgian Institute for Space Astronomy has finally cracked the case. And the answer didn't come from the volcanoes of Venus, it came from the stars. To understand the discovery, we have to understand why the lower haze is so enigmatic in the first place. Friends, if you have reached this far, please inform from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this live stream. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. On Earth, clouds are simple. Water evaporates, condenses, and eventually fall as rain. On Venus, it's a cycle of sulfur. Sulfuric acid clouds dominate the upper atmosphere. However, as you go deeper towards the surface, the temperature skyrockets. By the time you get below 47 kilometers, it becomes so hot that sulfuric acid cannot exist as a liquid droplet. It evaporates into gas. Logically, the clouds should just stop, but they don't. Probes descending through this kill zone in the year 1970 and it is detected a persistent ghostly haze of solid particles. For decades, the theories flew. Was it volcanic ash being kicked up from the surface? Was it some strange chemical reaction? We didn't understand at all. None of these models worked. The math never added up until Hiroki Karayu and his team decided to look at what Venus was eating from space. Every day, every planet in our solar system is bombarded by cosmic dust, tiny fragments left behind by the comets and colliding asteroids. We see these on Earth as shooting stars. When these meteors hit an atmosphere, they burn up, creating what scientists call meteoric smoke. These are nanometer-sized mineral particles, essentially tiny bits of iron, magnesium, and silicon. The research team used a state-of-the-art microphysical model to trace the life cycle of these particles as they enter the Venusian atmosphere. Here is the aha moment. As this cosmic dust drifts down from top of the atmosphere, it enters the sulfuric acid cloud deck. Instead of just passing through these tiny mineral bits as nuclei, essentially the seeds that sulfuric acid droplets grow around, but then the particles keep falling. They reach that 47-kilometer mark where the heat becomes unbearable. The sulfuric acid shell evaporates away, but the solid mineral core, which is the cosmic dust, remains. This is where the mystery is truly solved. When the acid evaporates, it leaves behind these naked mineral cores. Because the atmosphere at this depth is so dense, these tiny particles start bumping into each other at very high rate. They don't just bounce off, they kick, they stick also. Sometimes they kick, move away and collide with other particles. This process is called the coagulation. These tiny grains of stardust clumps together to form larger, more complex particles. This is exactly what the Pioneer Venus probe saw decades ago, the haze of solid, non-volatile particles that survived the heat. The team simulation didn't just suggest this could happen. The result matched the decade-old data from Venera and the Pioneer probes with startling accuracy. After 50 years, the ghost of Venus has a name. It is the processed remains of billions of shooting stars. So why does this matter beyond just solving an old puzzle? Because this dust isn't just a passive visitor. It is actively terraforming, or rather Venus forming, the planet's climate. The researchers found that these cosmic seeds increase Venus' total cloud production by 20 to 30%. Without this rain of space dust, Venus might have thinner clouds, which would fundamentally change how much solar energy the planet reflects and how much heat it traps. Furthermore, these dust particles contains metallic elements like iron. This could finally explain the unknown UV absorber, the mysterious substance in Venus's cloud that sucks up ultraviolet light and has baffled astronomers for nearly a century. If the clouds are salted with iron from space, that explains the UV absorption perfectly. This discovery changes how we look at every planet. If the cosmic dust is shaping the atmosphere of Venus, it is likely doing the same for Jupiter, Saturn, and even distant exoplanets we are just now discovering. But the best part, we won't have to wait another 50 years to confirm this. In late 2020s, NASA Da Vinci mission will plunge through Venusian's atmosphere with most advanced sensors ever built. It will taste the air, measure the dust, and hopefully gives us high definition look at the cosmic haze we finally have understood now. The morning star still has many secrets, but thanks to a little bit of stardust and some brilliant modeling, one of its oldest mystery is finally put to rest. So friends, we have come to the end, and I see Megha Sharma joining us from LinkedIn, and she is joining us from Delhi. So Megha Sharma, great, you have informed us about your city. So friend, we have come to the end of our live stream today. Before I leave, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
The idea of robots living alongside us has been belonged to the realm of science fiction. Yet today it is edging into the reality. With the debut of AI-powered robot designed specially for home use, the boundary between futuristic imagination and everyday life is dissolving. These machines are no longer confined to factory floors or research labs. They are stepping into kitchen, living room, bedroom, promising to transform the domestic routine. The debut of AI robots for domestic use is not just a technological milestone, it is a cultural one also. It sparks curiosity, inspires hope, ignites debate. So, are we welcoming helpful assistants into our lives or surveillance device disguised as a companion? The answer may shape not only the future of our household but also the broader relationship between human and intelligent machine. Artificial intelligence has begun to step out of the research lab and corporate offices into the most intimate of the space, our home. So debut of AI powered domestic robots marks a turning point in consumer technology, one that blends convenience with controversy. So these machines are designed to handle everyday tasks, tidying rooms, monitoring energy use, assisting with cooking, or even offering companionship. And this appeal lies in the promise of freeing up time, reducing household stress, and creating a seamless, smart living environment. For many consumers, the idea of robot that can anticipate the need and act autonomously and feel natural is the next step after smart speakers and connected appliances. Yet, that excitement is tempered by uneasy, and that is privacy debate over flared almost immediately. Unlike a vacuum robot that simply mop your floor plans, and these new AI robots can equipped with advanced sensory cameras, microphones. So they don't just clean, they observe, interpret, and learn. That means that they are constantly collecting data from household routine, personal habits, even private conversations. So for some, this feels like inviting a surveillance device into the living room. The questions become: who owns that data and how securely it stored? So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will determine the reach of our channel. So going forward, the consumer interest is undeniable. Early demonstrations have drawn crowds, and pre-orders suggest a strong demand. Families imagine robots that can help elderly relatives, parents, and vision assistants with the childcare. And the professionals see value in delegating some routine work. So, but alongside with enthusiasm, the critics warn of the risk of dependency and erosion of boundaries. So, if a robot can recognize emotions, respond to the stress, and adapt to the personal preferences, does it cross into the territories of replacing human interaction? So, and if the companies monetize the insight gathered from these robots, does the home cease to be a private sanctuary? So this tension between innovation and intrusion defines the current debate. On one hand, AI robot for home use could actually revolutionize the domestic life. It can provide easiness in the domestic life, making home safer, more efficient, and more responsive. On the other hand, they raise profound ethical questions about autonomy, consent, and surveillance. The debut of these robots is not just a technological milestone, it is a cultural one too. It actually forces society to grapple with what we value more: convenience or privacy, automation or intimacy. For now, the spotlight remains on consumer curiosity. The allure of futuristic living is strong, and many are eager to experiment. But as adoption spread, the conversation will inevitably shift from novelty to accountability. The home, once the most private space, is becoming the next frontier for AI, and how we navigate this frontier will shape not only our domestic life but also our broader relationship with technology. The arrival of AI robots in our home is more than a technical upgrade. It is definitely, as we are discussing, cultural shift. These machines promise efficiency, they also promise safety, and even the companionship, yet they are that is a challenge of our notion of privacy, intimacy within the household. So, as consumer embrace this, and society must also confront the deeper questions: how much of our personal lives uh, are we willing to share with the machines, and who ultimately control that information? So, so that is that whether they become a trusted helper or controversial intruders will depend only on the technological itself, but also value we choose to uphold as we invite artificial intelligence into our most private corners of our lives. So we have come to the end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe our channel, and see you in the next one. But before we close this live streaming, few words about our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Friends, Namaskaram, you are most welcome. Let me ask you, is your temper costing you more than just professional reputation? In the high stake world of C suite, emotional control isn't just a soft skill, it is a critical business strategy. In this episode, we dive deep into the ancient wisdom, and we will take help from Bhagavad Gita to uncover why anger is the single greatest liability to the executive decision making. Let's go. We often talk about competitive advantages in business. We talk about market share, supply chain, optimization, AI integration, and capital allocation. But today, I want to talk about your biggest liability. It is not your competitor, it is not the economy, it is not a supply chain disruption. It is something that lives inside most of the critical asset of your company, that is the CEO's mind. I'm talking about anger. And before you dismiss this just as a human nature or passion, I want you to understand that in a high stake world of C suite, anger is not a leadership trait. It is a system failure. It is a silent killer of the empires, startups, and legacies. Today, we are going to break down the science of why this happens using the timeless framework from Bhagavad Gita mentioned in chapter 2, verse 63, to understand why emotional control is the ultimate executive strategy. Now, let's look at the wisdom from the Gita, and the quote starts: anger compound delusion. Delusion leads to loss of memory, which in turn destroys the power of discrimination. Loss of discrimination means loss of self and feeling to the material consciousness again. And the quote close. Let us now translate this into modern leadership language. The verse describes a specific sequential, chemical, and this and start seeing it as a fear it to be. You create a false reality. Next is loss of memory. This is critical for a CEO. When you are angry, your mind shuts off access to your database, your experience, your past failures, your previous lessons, your long term strategy. You lose access to the very data you need to make the most appropriate and the right decision. Next is loss of discrimination. Discrimination here doesn't mean bias, it means discriminate, ability to tell the difference between a minor setback and a company ending crisis. Next is loss of self. You cease to be a leader you intend to be. You become a reactionary figurehead. This is an executive downfall spiral, and it happens faster than you think. Think about the last time you made a decision in anger. Maybe it was an email sent late at night. Maybe it was firing, that you later regret. Maybe it was an acquisition you pushed through because you wanted to win the negotiation rather than making a sound investment. In the boardroom, when you enter this delusion state, you lose the ability to see the objective truth. Your team stops bringing you bad news because they fear your reaction. Your culture shifts from innovation to survival. If you are a CEO or an entrepreneur anywhere globally, you know that your primary job is to be the chief decision making officer. Your ability to discern is like your product. When you're angry, you have essentially bricked your own operating system. You're trying to run a multi-million dollar company on a system that is compromised by emotion. That, by definition, is a liability. So, friends, how do we fix this? How do we stop the loop? You don't suppress the emotion, you intercept the signal. So, there are a few steps which I would like to suggest to you. Step one, pattern interrupt. The moment you feel that the heat in your chest or that tightening in your jaw, you have to hit a circuit breaker. Physically stand up, leave the room, step away from the screen. Neuroscience tells us that it takes about 90 seconds for an emotional chemical rush to dissipate. If you can stay silent for 90 seconds, you regain your prefrontal cortex, your seat of logic. Step number two, data retrieval. Force yourself to look at the facts. Strip the story you are telling yourself about why someone is out to get you or why this project is failing. Ask, what is the actual verifiable data here? This reactive process reactivates the memory that the Gita mentions, the wisdom you have built over your career, over your experience. Step number three is perspective shift. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Will you know will it mean anything to you in 5 years, for example? Will this matter mean anything in 5 months? Will this matter mean anything to you in 5 weeks? If the answer is no, stop treating it like a five alarm fire. This restores your power of discrimination. You are not an emotional robot. You are the leader. Your team relies on your equanimity. When the storm hit, the ship doesn't, get angry at the waves. It adjusts the rudder. So be the rudder. Be like a rudder, right? Leadership is the art of mastery. Mastery over markets, mastery over technology, but most importantly, mastery over oneself. The Gita warned us thousands of years ago, and modern neuroscience confirms it today. If you cannot govern your mind, you cannot govern your enterprise. So, we believe that the integration of these ancient strategies with the modern technology is a key to the next generation of business success. Therefore, we bring these episodes to you every day. So, friends, if you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, share this with your fellow leaders who need to hear it. Don't let your emotions be your company's biggest liability. Keep your head clear, keep your strategy sharp, and you will see, the things will basically take a better turn. I will see you in the next one. My name is CK and thanks for watching. Hello friends and namaskaram. What would happen to the global economy if the humans suddenly lost the ability to lie? Very important question, and therefore in this video we dive into the fascinating thought experiment. If honesty became the only option for every human on earth, which major industries would collapse first? From high-stake advertising to political campaigning to the complex world of corporate PR and everyday sales, we analyze the business model that depends entirely on the white lie. Let's go. Imagine waking up tomorrow in a world where white lies are physically impossible. You go to work, your boss asks, how was your weekend? And instead of the polite, it was great, thanks, you are compelled to say, it was miserable. I spent the whole time stressed about this presentation. Now imagine that the same filter or lack of thereof applied to every transactions, every advertisement and every political speech on the planet. Today we are embarking on a thought experiment. If the humanity suddenly lost the ability to deceive, which industries would crumble under the weight of the absolute truth? We are looking at the sectors built on foundation of the lie. First, let's look at the titan of the industry that might face the swiftest collapse, which is advertising. Market is often described as the art of persuasion, but let's be honest, it frequently relies on misleading implications. Think about the weight loss supplement that claims this pill will help you shed pounds. Is it a lie? Technically, it might work for one person, but implies a result that isn't a universal result or a guaranteed result. If human couldn't lie, ads would have to become terrifyingly literal. No more the best coffee in the world. Just this coffee is produced by a factory that pays its employee minimum wage and use medium quality beans. The industry spent billions on creating a vibe rather than conveying the data. If we strip away the aspirational imagery and exaggerated promises, the entire multi-trillion-dollar advertising machine would grind to an halt. Then there is the classical industry, which is used in the as a car salesman. We have all heard the stories about the cars that is in perfect condition, right up until the moment it leaves the garage. This industry relies on information asymmetry, the idea that the seller knows the flaws and the buyer doesn't. If a salesperson was suddenly incapable of omitting the fact that the transmission is failing or that the vehicle was in floods, business model would implode instantly. It's not just cars. It's any business where the seller holds more information than the buyer. In a world of absolute truth, buyer beware disappears, replaced by seller forced to confess. Without the ability to bury the bad news, these transactions would become either brutally honest or non-existent. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now, let's talk about the industry that thrive on the spin, which is politics. The public relation is in many ways the art of controlling a narrative by selecting which truth to be highlighted and which to bury. If the politicians are incapable of lying, the standard campaign trail would disappear overnight. Imagine a debate where a candidate is asked, how will you fund the tax cut? And they are forced to say, I have no idea. I'm just saying this to get your vote. The political apparatus, which is built on campaign promise that was rarely kept, would require a total restructuring. It wouldn't just be very embarrassing, it would be immediate crisis of legitimacy for governments worldwide. We have to touch on the corporate office too. The white lie is a grease that keeps the professional engine running. Your presentation was great. I will get right on that. Or it's not you, it is the company restructuring. Research shows that maintaining these lies take immense mental and physical energy. While honesty is generally better for our health and stress levels, our professional culture is built on a layer of social cushioning. If that layer vanishes, the HR department would be overwhelmed and the professional relationships would either shatter or become purely fictional, right? The office wouldn't be necessarily go bankrupt, but the culture of modern workplace would be unrecognizable. So if the marketing, used car sales, political campaigning are in the danger zone, what would survive then? The industry is based on hard facts and tangible value, engineering, scientific research, and logistics. When you are building a bridge, you cannot spin the structural integrity. The truth is forced upon by the gravity itself. The company would survive and thrive are the ones that have been selling truth all along. In a world without lies, transparency becomes the ultimate competitive advantage. Ultimately, a world without lie would be a world of radical efficiency, but it would also be incredibly painful. We rely on these little lies to maintain our social fabric. So, what do you think, friends? If we had to choose one industry to wipe off from the map of the earth, would it be advertisers, the politicians, or the car salesmen? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into what if of our world. Thanks for watching. I will catch you again very soon.
Hello friends, you might have heard about the latest acquisition by SpaceX, which is Elon Musk. Is SpaceX latest $60 billion move the secret to colonize the Mars? In a massive industry shifting announcement, Elon Musk SpaceX has secured an option to acquire Cursor, the world leader AI coding startup, for a staggering $60 billion. This deal isn't just about software, it's a strategic play to integrate Cursor's vibe coding AI with SpaceX's colossal supercomputer, the world's most powerful AI training cluster. In this video, we break down why Musk is betting $60 billion on AI and how this technology could be the missing link for Starship's autonomous system, deep space navigation, and the massive software infrastructure needed to build a city on Mars. Let's go.
Hello, friends. Welcome to this high-level executive briefing. We explore the profound leadership wisdom found in Bhagavad Gita. While the modern corporate culture often drives leaders towards external validation and endless doing within quotes, this ancient verse reveals that the most effective leadership comes from a state of internal being. The inside out executive breaks down how the concept of the yogi, one who is happy within and flooded with self-enlightenment, translate directly to the modern C-suite. Learn how to translate and transition from reactive management to proactive sovereignty. Let us explore this thought further. Welcome once again. We live in an era of the extreme leadership. We are taught that more we do, more we achieve. We track KPIs, market share, and quarterly growth. But there is a paradox at the top. Many executives have reached the pinnacle of the material success while, they feel more hollow than when they started. Why is it, that more we gain on the outside, the more we feel we are losing on the inside? Today we are, looking for the answers in a 7,000-year-old text. We are exploring Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 24. It offers a blueprint of what I call the inside-out executive. Let's look at the verse itself, and Bhagwan Krishna says, And the quote starts, a yogi is happy within. He sees God within himself. He is flooded with self-enlightenment. He attains the liberation from material existence and unite with the divine. And the quote close. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this live stream. This will help us determine our reach. Alright, let's proceed further. To the modern CEO, words like yogi or divine might feel distant. But let's translate this into a language of the leadership. A yogi is simply a person of the perfected discipline. Happy within himself means you are emotional, in your emotional state is no longer a hostage to the stock market or a boardroom meeting. Flooded with self-enlightenment is what we now call high-level intuition and clarity. This verse isn't about retiring to a cave, it's about becoming an unshakable in the boardroom. Most leaders are outside in. If the company performs, they are happy. If the media criticize them, they are miserable. Their internal world is a mirror of their external environment. The inside out executive flips the script. Verse 5.24 tells us that the source of joy must be internal. When you are happy within, you lead from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. You aren't making decisions because you are afraid of losing your status. You are making them because they are the right thing to do. This is where the self-enlightenment comes in. When the noise of ego and anxiety is silenced, you gain the quiet mind. In that quiet, you see the God within, or in professional terms, you access your highest intelligence. Now let's talk about the most provocative word in this verse, liberation. In the Gita, this is the moksha, which is freedom from cycle of birth and death. For an executive, this is freedom from the material grind. Think about it. How much of your stress comes from things you cannot control? The economy, the competition, the global supply chain. Liberation means you are no longer a slave to these outcomes. You perform your dharma, which is your duty, with 100% intensity, but your soul isn't crushed if the result fluctuate. Ironically, this detachment makes you more powerful. A leader who doesn't need a specific outcome to feel whole is the most dangerous person in a negotiation. You have nothing to lose because your fulfillment is already locked in internal space. So how do we apply this tomorrow morning, right? First, the morning audit. Before you check your emails, which is coming from outside, check your inside. Spend 5 minutes in silence. Find that internal happiness before the world tries to give you its version of it. Alright? Number 2, intellectual detachment. During a crisis, ask yourself, is my happiness based on solving this, or is my happiness constant while I solve this? Right? Number 3 is lead by light. So verse 5.24 mentioned about flooded with light. Be the leader who brings clarity to the room, not heat. If you are enlightened within, you illuminate the path for everyone else. The verse ends by saying the yogi unite with the divine. In leadership, this is the union of the purpose and action. When your internal state matches your external impact, you aren't just working anymore, you are fulfilling your mission. So don't just lead a company, lead yourself first. Be the inside out executive. And friends, we have come to the end. Thanks for joining live. Thanks for your time. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across. Before we end this section, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready, comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends and Namaskaram. On June 15th, 1908, a landmark moment in India's financial history took place in the formal incorporation of Calcutta Stock Exchange as one of the oldest stock exchange in Asia and the second to be established in India after the Bombay Stock Exchange. The CSE, the Calcutta Stock Exchange, quickly transformed into a primary engine of the financial growth of the Eastern India region. Therefore, in this video, we explore the origins of the exchange, its original 150 founding members, and how it cemented Calcutta's status as a premier hub for trade, industry, and investment in the early 20th century. Let's go. June 15th in 1908, a date that might seem like just another page in history. But for the financial world of Asia, it was a turning point. Imagine the scene: horse-driven carriages clattering over the cobblestone of a line range, the air thick with humidity of Bengal summer, and the hum of the city that served as the heartbeat of the British Empire in India. On this day, a group of visionaries gathered to do something bold. They were signing a charter to create Calcutta Stock Exchange. Today, we are going back in time to see how it all began. So, friends, if you have reached this far, please let us know from which city you have tuned in into this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now, let's proceed further. To understand the importance of 1908, we have to understand the city. At the time, Calcutta wasn't just a city, it was the commercial powerhouse of the East. The massive British trading houses were located there, managing the tea gardens of Assam, the jute mills along the Hooghly, and the sprawling coal mines of the hinterlands. Before the exchange, trading happened informally, often under the shades of neem tree or the makeshift offices. But the scale of business was becoming too vast, too complex for informal handshakes. The economy demanded order. The economy demanded an institution. Enter the 150 founding members, of initial founding members. They weren't just the merchants, they were the architects of India's modern financial landscape. When the Calcutta Stock Exchange was incorporated on June 15th, 1908, it wasn't a sole effort. It was a massive collaboration of both Indian and European brokers. Think about the friction of that era. Yet, in the pits of exchange, business came first. They pooled their resources, established a regulatory code, and decided that instead of scattered trading, they would create a unified marketplace. The exchange became the second in all of India, trailing only the Bombay Stock Exchange, and it quickly became the primary financial hub for everything happening in the East. Why does this matter today? Because the Calcutta Stock Exchange fueled the industrial revolution of East India. When you look at the growth of the coal industry, the massive exports of jute that were essential to global trade, or the tea plantation that became household names, we are looking at companies that were at the same point traded right there on the lines range. It provided the liquidity and the transparency that allowed these businesses to grow from small family run business operations into massive corporate entities. It set the stage for how India would handle capital, risk, and investment for the next century. The building on line range still stands today. a silent witness to over a century of boom, bust, policy shift, and the sheer grit of the trader who walked on its floor. While the world of finance has moved into a digital realm where billions of dollars exchange hand in milliseconds via fiber optics cable, the spirit of 1908 remains relevant. It taught us that the economy is only as strong as the institution itself. Founders of 1908 didn't just create a building, they created a culture of trust and commerce that laid the foundation for the India as we see it today. History isn't just about dates and charters, it's about people who saw the potential for a better, more organized future. June 15th, 1908 changed everything for the traders of Calcutta and, by extension, for the history of Indian finance. So, friends, thanks for joining me on this trip back to 1908. If you enjoyed this dive into our financial heritage, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon. I want to know what other historic institutions should we uncover next. Drop a suggestion in the comments below, and I will see you next very soon, friends. Bye for now.
Long before the telescope pierced the skies of Renaissance Europe, a brilliant mind in 5th century India dared to challenge the cosmic order. And Aryabhat, through his Aryabhatiya, as that suggested that the earth itself was not a still center of the universe, but a rotating sphere and its motion explaining the dance of stars and the cosmos. In doing so, he planted the seed of heliocentrism nearly 1,000 years before Copernicus. So in 2026, as humanity propose an interplanetary mission and debates on the ethics of AI, design, science, and Aryabhat vision feels startlingly modern. What do you feel about that? Now, going forward, his courage to question orthodoxy mirror our own struggles to redefine boundaries, whether in space exploration or in digital knowledge or in global collaboration. What he offered was not just astronomy, but a philosophical revolution. A reminder that Earth is but one participant in the vast cosmic symphony. शिकागो की ठंडी हवाओं के बीच भारतीय संस्कृति की गर्माहट से जगमगाता है हिंदू टेम्पल ऑफ ग्रेटर शिकागो। ये केवल ईंट पत्थर से बना मंदिर नहीं, बल्कि प्रवासी भारतीयों की आस्था, परंपरा और आत्मा का जीवंत प्रतीक है। यहाँ की घंटियां जो गूंजती हैं वो हमें भारत की मिट्टी की याद दिलाती हैं और स्वामी विवेकानंद की मूर्ति हमें उस ऐतिहासिक क्षण की ओर ले जाती है जब उन्होंने 1893 में शिकागो के विश्व धर्म सम्मेलन में भारत की आध्यात्मिक धरोहर का परिचय दिया था। आज 2026 में ये मंदिर न केवल पूजा का स्थल है, बल्कि भारतीय समुदाय जो कि अमेरिका में स्थित है, वो वहाँ के समुदायों की एकता, संस्कृति और विवेकानंद के विचारों का वैश्विक केंद्र बन चुका है। इसकी भव्य वास्तुकला, विशाल गोपुरम और शांत वातावरण हर आगंतुक को एक संदेश देता है और धर्म और आध्यात्म सीमाओं से परे ले जाता है। चलिए जानते हैं उसके बारे में कुछ और। हिंदू टेम्पल ऑफ ग्रेटर शिकागो अमेरिका में भारतीय संस्कृति और अध्यात्म का एक जीवंत प्रतीक है। यह मंदिर न केवल पूजा अर्चना का स्थल है, बल्कि भारतीय समुदाय की पहचान और स्वामी विवेकानंद के विचारों का वैश्विक केंद्र भी बन चुका है। इस मंदिर की स्थापना का विचार 1970 के दशक में भारतीय प्रवासी समुदाय ने किया और 1977 में इसकी नींव रखी गई और 1980 के दशक में लमेंट और इलिनॉय में 18 एकड़ भूमि पर इसका निर्माण आरंभ हुआ। 1986 में राम मंदिर का उद्घाटन हुआ और बाद में शिव जी और गणेश जी और दुर्गा माता के लिए भी मंदिर बनाए गए। ये मंदिर धीरे धीरे भारतीयों के लिए सांस्कृतिक और आध्यात्मिक केंद्र बन गया है। अगर उसकी वास्तुकला की बात करें तो राम मंदिर का निर्माण दक्षिण भारत की चोल शैली में हुआ है और इसका विशाल गोपुरम, जिसको प्रवेश द्वार कहा जा सकता है, वो भी चोल शैली में बनाया गया है। हिंदू टेम्पल ऑफ ग्रेटर शिकागो की भव्यता इसमें आप देख सकते हैं, और दक्षिण भारतीय शैली का ऊंचा गोपुरम लगभग 80 फुट ऊंचा है और दूर से ही श्रद्धालुओं को आकर्षित करता है। शिव जी, गणेश जी, दुर्गा माता का जो मंदिर है वो कलिंग शैली में बना है। उत्तर भारतीय शैली का सफेद संगमरमर शिखर पर है, सामने कमल और ताल है और मंदिर भी है। मंदिर के आसपास बहुत भव्य बगीचे हैं तथा पहाड़ी पर पीछे की तरफ पहाड़ी पर स्वामी विवेकानंद की प्रतिमा है। दोनों मंदिरों को जोड़ने वाला जो प्लेस है वो सामुदायिक केंद्र, सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रमों का स्थल है, जहां पर उत्सवों का भी आयोजन किया जाता है। मंदिर परिसर प्रकृति सौंदर्य से घिरा हुआ है, जिससे यहाँ आने वालों को शांति और आध्यात्मिक ऊर्जा का अनुभव होता है। बाईं ओर भगवान राम, सीता जी और लक्ष्मण और हनुमान जी की मूर्तियां हैं, और मध्य में भगवान शिव जी, पार्वती और गणेश जी की अलौकिक उपस्थिति है। और अगर थोड़ा आगे बढ़े तो दाईं ओर माँ दुर्गा का और भगवान वेंकटेश्वर का की जो भव्य प्रतिमाएं हैं यहाँ पर। और पूरे जो वातावरण को पुष्पमालाओं, दीपों से सजे रहती हैं, और सुनहरी तोरण से मंदिर को और सजाया जाता है, और ये देवालय मंदिर की आत्मा को, सारी सजावट इसे जीवंत कर देती है। अगर माना जाए कि आज के युग में इसका महत्व, इस मंदिर का महत्व क्या है, तो आज 2026 में यह मंदिर भारतीय प्रवासी समुदाय का केंद्र है। यहाँ दीपावली, नवरात्रि, जन्माष्टमी, रामनवमी जैसे बड़े पर्व बड़े उत्साह से मनाए जाते हैं। ये मंदिर नई पीढ़ी को भारतीय संस्कृति से जोड़ता है और अमेरिका में भारतीय पहचान का सशक्त ये एक उदाहरण है, सशक्त भी करता है। साथ ही ये स्थान विभिन्न धर्मों और संस्कृति के बीच संवाद और समझ का भी माध्यम है। अब आगे बढ़ते हैं और बात करते हैं स्वामी विवेकानंद आध्यात्मिक केंद्र के बारे में, जो इसी प्रांगण में स्थित है। मंदिर परिसर से एक अलग स्वामी विवेकानंद का स्पिरिचुअल सेंटर है। यहाँ ध्यान, योग, आध्यात्मिक प्रवचन आयोजित होते हैं। पास ही विवेकानंद हिल पर उनकी 10 फुट ऊंची कांस्य प्रतिमा स्थापित है। ये प्रतिमा 1893 में शिकागो के वर्ल्ड पार्लियामेंट ऑफ रिलीजन में दिए गए उनके ऐतिहासिक भाषण को याद दिलाती है। यह अमेरिका में सार्वजनिक स्थल पर विवेकानंद की पहली प्रतिमा है। 19 आगे बढ़ते हैं और 2026 में ये केंद्र युवाओं और प्रवासियों के लिए प्रेरणा का स्रोत है, और विवेकानंद के विचार जो कि बहुत ही प्रोफाउंड है, उठो, जागो और लक्ष्य को प्राप्ति तक एक्चुअली मत रुको, ये बहुत ही ज्यादा एक हाँ, तो आगे बढ़ते हैं। हम बात कर रहे थे कि जो विवेकानंद की जो सीख है उसके बारे में। उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि सेवा ही धर्म है। विवेकानंद ने सिखाया कि मानवता की सेवा ही ईश्वर की सच्ची पूजा है। उन्होंने कहा, जितना तुम दूसरों के लिए करोगे उतना ही तुम्हारा जीवन महान बनेगा। और युवाओं के लिए बहुत ही प्रेरणादायक उनके विचार थे, जो बहुत ज़्यादा आजकल सार्थक है। उन्होंने युवाओं को राष्ट्र निर्माण का आधार बताया। उनका विश्वास था कि यदि युवा जाग जाएंगे तो भारत फिर से विश्व गुरु बन सकता है। और अगर बात करें तो धर्म के बारे में उनका क्या कथन है, वे कहते थे कि धर्म का अर्थ केवल पूजा नहीं, बल्कि आत्मा की शक्ति को पहचानना। उन्हें सभी धर्मों में समानता और सहिष्णुता का संदेश भी दिया है। और शिक्षा का उद्देश्य बहुत जरूरी है जानना जब हम विवेकानंद के बारे में बात करते हैं। विवेकानंद के अनुसार शिक्षा का लक्ष्य ज्ञान प्राप्त करना सिर्फ नहीं है, बल्कि चरित्र निर्माण करना भी है। उन्होंने कहा शिक्षा वह है जो मनुष्य को आत्मविश्वास और साहसिक बनाए। इसके अलावा उन्होंने स्त्री सम्मान और समानता पर अधिक जोर दिया। उन्होंने महिलाओं को समाज की रीढ़ की हड्डी कहा और उनके उत्थान के लिए बहुत सारी बातें कही और राष्ट्र निर्माण से उस स्त्री उत्थान को उन्होंने जोड़ा। हिंदू टेम्पल ऑफ ग्रेटर शिकागो, जैसे कि पहले बताया गया कि पूजा का स्थल नहीं है, बल्कि भारतीय सांस्कृतिक अध्यात्म और स्वामी विवेकानंद के विचारों का भी वैश्विक केंद्र है। 2026 में ये मंदिर भारतीय समुदाय को एकजुट करता है, नई पीढ़ियों को अपनी परंपराओं से जोड़ता है, दुनिया को संदेश देता है कि धर्म और अध्यात्म सीमाओं से परे हैं। और यदि आप यहाँ तक पहुंच चुके हैं तो कृपया करके बताइए कि आप किस शहर से हमसे जुड़े हैं। इससे हमें अपने चैनल की पहुंच को समझने में मदद मिलेगी। अब आगे बढ़ते हैं अपनी चर्चा की तरफ। हिंदू टेम्पल ऑफ ग्रेटर शिकागो की सफलता केवल उसकी भव्य और आध्यात्मिकता नहीं है, बल्कि उसके सुचारू प्रबंधन और समर्पित लोगों में भी निहित है। इस मंदिर का संचालन भारतीय प्रवासी समुदाय के स्वयं सेवकों और प्रबंधन समिति द्वारा किया जाता है। समिति में विभिन्न पृष्ठभूमि के लोग शामिल होते हैं, व्यवसायी हैं, शिक्षक हैं, इंजीनियर हैं, सामाजिक कार्यकर्ता हैं, जो अपने समय और संसाधन मंदिर की सेवा में लगाते हैं। मंदिर का प्रबंधन केवल पूजा पाठ तक सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि इसमें सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रमों का आयोजन, शिक्षा और योग की क्लासेस की व्यवस्था तथा सामुदायिक सहयोग को भी शामिल किया गया है। यहाँ बड़े उत्सव और आयोजन में सैकड़ों स्वयंसेवक सक्रिय रहते हैं, जो भोजन, सुरक्षा, यातायात और अतिथियों को देखभाल करने में अपना सहयोग देते हैं। अब आगे बढ़ते हैं, बात करते हैं फिर और दोबारा से स्वामी विवेकानंद आध्यात्मिक केंद्र का संचालन के बारे में। ये भी एक विशेष रूप से किया जाता है। यहाँ पे प्रशिक्षित लोग इसका संचालन देखते हैं। यहाँ ध्यान, योग और सत्रों के लिए शिक्षक, प्रवचन के लिए विद्वान और आयोजनों के लिए समर्पित कार्यकर्ता जुड़े रहते हैं। ये केंद्र युवाओं को विवेकानंद के आदर्शों से जोड़ने का प्रयास करता है और उन्हें जीवन में अनुशासन, आत्मविश्वास और सेवा की भावना सिखाता है। 2026 में ये मंदिर और उसका प्रबंधन भारतीय समुदाय की एकता और सहयोग का उदाहरण है। यहाँ पर हर व्यक्ति अपनी भूमिका निभाता है। कोई दान देता है, कोई समय देता है, तो कोई सेवा करता है। यही सामूहिक प्रयास इस मंदिर को जीवंत और प्रभावशाली बनाते हैं। और अंततः हिंदू टेम्पल ऑफ ग्रेटर शिकागो केवल धार्मिक स्थल नहीं है, बल्कि एक सुव्यवस्थित संस्था है। और यहाँ पर जो लोग हैं वो डेफिनेटली संस्कृति और विवेकानंद स्वामी के विचारों को विश्व भर में फैलाने का कार्य करते हैं। हम अपनी चर्चा के अंत तक पहुंच चुके हैं। यदि आप इस मंदिर के बारे में आपने सुना है या यहाँ पर दर्शन के लिए गए हैं, तो कृपा करके अपनी सोच और तस्वीरें टिप्पणी बॉक्स में साझा कीजिए, कमेंट बॉक्स में हमसे शेयर कीजिए। साथ ही स्वामी विवेकानंद की शिक्षाओं पर आपने कुछ अनोखे विचार हैं तो उनको भी हमें लिख भेजिए। इसके अलावा कृपा करके हमारे चैनल और को लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिए। तो आपसे फिर मुलाकात होगी बहुत जल्द। तब तक के लिए विदा।
नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सभी का स्वागत है। और आज तो मंगलवार का दिन है, आपको सबको ज्ञात है। और आज तारीख क्या है? 16 तारीख है, 16 जून। तो सबको पता है मंगलवार का जो दिन है वो हनुमान जी के लिए समर्पित है। तो आज के दिन हम अपना दिन शुरू करेंगे, अपना जो वर्किंग डे है वो शुरू करेंगे भगवान जी की पूजा करके, हनुमान जी की पूजा करेंगे। और इस पूजा में हम हनुमान चालीसा का उच्चारण करेंगे, रिसाइटेशन करेंगे। तो आप सब हमारे साथ जुड़ें और हनुमान चालीसा का रिसाइटेशन हमारे साथ जोड़ के करें, इससे काफ़ी फायदा होता है। चलिए आंख बंद करके ध्यान कर लेते हैं और भगवान जी का हम नमन शुरू करते हैं। सबसे पहले जय श्री राम। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मन मुकुर सुधार, बरनउँ रघुबर बिमल जसु, जो दायक फलचार। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरो पवन कुमार, बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहे, हरहु क्लेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तेहु लोक उजागर। राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवार सुमत के संगी। कंचन वरन विराज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र ओ ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करवे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनवे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरी सिंह दिखावा, विकट रूप धरी लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरी असुर सहारे, रामचंद्र जी के काज संवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जी आए, श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए। रघुपत कीनी बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत संभाई। सहस बदन तुमरो यश गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादि ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाँ थे, कवि कोविद कही सके कहाँ थे। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना, राम मिलाए राजपद दीना। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जोजन पर भानु, लियो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेल मुख माही, जल दिलांग गए अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवाले, होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे। सब सुख लहें तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपे, तीनों लोग हाँकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लाए, सोई अमित जीवन फल पाए। चारों युग प्रताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्धि जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवाले, असुर निकंदन राम दुआरे। असिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जान की माता। राम रसायन तुमरे पासा, सदा रो रघुपति के दासा। तुमरे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित न धरे, हनुमत से ही सब सुख करे। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गुसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सतपार पाठ कर कोई, छूटे ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो ये पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरिचेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय में डेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूरत रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसो सुरभूप। जय श्री राम जय श्री राम जय श्री राम। तो दोस्तों आज हमारी पूजा संपन्न हुई और हम अपना अब दिन शुरू करेंगे। इस वीडियो में आपसे विदा लेता हूं। आपका दिन शुभ रहे। नमस्कार।
Hello, friends. We used to think only migratory birds could feel the Earth's magnetic pull. But that truth is hidden in our own DNA. What if your vision is actually powered by subatomic shifts happening at the quantum level? You might be carrying an ancient navigational system inside your eye without even knowing. So, scientists have discovered that the protein in your retina are capable of quantum entanglement, allowing you to potentially sense the Earth's magnetic field. We are unlocking a latent sensory perception that bridges the gap between biology and physics. So let's find out more about this. Every living creature is immersed in an invisible ocean of magnetism. The Earth's magnetic field, stretching from pole to pole, is a silent architect of navigation and migration and orientations. Birds traces its line across the continent. Sea turtles follow its whisper through the deep, and even human through unaware may sense it. Subtle pull sometimes. The secret lies not in mysticism, but in a quantum physics woven into the very molecule of vision. At the heart of this phenomena is a tiny molecule called cryptochrome, found in the retina of many animals, including humans. Cryptochrome is a light-sensitive protein that responds to blue wavelength. When photon strikes it, they trigger a quantum reaction, a dance of electron that defies the classical logic. Two electrons become entangled, meaning their state are linked no matter how far apart they are. And this entanglement allows them to act as a miniature compass sensitive to the Earth's magnetic field. Imagine this process as a quantum whisper. A photon enters the eye, energizing the cryptochrome, and the molecule split into two radicals, each with an unpaired electron. And these electrons spin in an opposite direction, forming that physicists call a radical pair. The Earth's magnetic field subtly alters the orientation of these spin, changing how the molecule behave chemically. The result is faint signal modulation in the light pattern that the brain could, in theory, interprets as a directional information. So next time you step outside and feel inexplicably drawn towards direction, remember, your eye may be whisper with quantum particles, tracing the Earth's magnetic symphony. So you are, in very real sense, a part of the planet's quantum design, seeing not just with the light, but with the physics of the cosmos itself. So friends, if you have reached this far, please do inform us from which city you are watching this video, so that that will actually determine us the reach of our channel. So now let's continue with our discussion. So as the migratory birds, that quantum compass is vital. They don't see magnetic lines as glowing threads in a sky, but their visual system may overlay magnetic cues onto their perception of color or brightness. It is as if the world's magnetic geometry is painted faintly over their vision, a hidden layer guiding them across the ocean and continents. So astonishingly, the part of their guidance actually depends on quantum coherence, a fragile state that usually collapses in warm and noisy environment. So yet the the nature has found a way to preserve it inside a living eye. So in human, cryptochrome exists too. And though its magnetic sensitivity is much weaker, some researchers speculate that our ancestor may have once used this ability for orientation before modern tools replaced instinct. Experiments have shown that the human cryptochrome can respond to magnetic field under labs condition, suggesting that our eyes still hold the blueprint of quantum navigation. And it is reminded that evolution does not erase, it repurposes. So quantum physics, often confined to labs and equation, thus become a biological language. The same principle that governs subatomic particles also shape the perception and behavior. Entanglement, coherence, and the spin concept that seems abstract are the invisible thread connecting life to the cosmos. So when you open your eyes, you are not merely seeing light. You are participating in a quantum conversation between matter and magnetism. So this discovery blurs the boundary between physics and biology. It challenges the notion that living systems are too messy for quantum effect. And in this cryptochrome molecule, the quantum mechanics operates with precision and translating magnetic information into biochemical signal. It is as if evolution itself learned to harness the uncertainty of a quantum world to create certainty in navigation. So the implication reached beyond migration. So understanding how quantum processes occur in biology could revolutionize the technology. Quantum sensors, medical imaging, and even the artificial vision system inspired by the nature's design. And if the bird's eye can detect magnetic field through the quantum entanglement, perhaps the future device could do the same and guiding drones or spacecraft with organic actually precision. And there's a poetic side to this science. The idea that our eye evolved to perceive a color or form also carries the potential to sense the planet magnetic heartbeat connects us deeply to Earth. And it suggests that the perception is not limited to what is visible, but actually extend into the unseen architecture of reality. The magnetic field becomes the silent companion shaping the rhythm of life from migration to moods. So in the end, the story of cryptochrome and the quantum vision is a story of unity between physics and biology, between microscopic and the planet related, and it also reminds us that the universe does not draw hard lines between disciplines. It weaves them together, and they glance at the horizon, and every turn of a bird in a flight is a testament to this invisible harmony. So now we have come to the end of this topic, this discussion. Please like and subscribe our channel, and we look forward for your comment on this topic. To see you in the next one very soon. Till then, take care. Bye.
नमस्कार। अब हम भगवान विष्णु की पूजा प्रारंभ करेंगे। हमने अपना काउंटर अपने हाथ में ले लिया है। एक मंत्र का उच्चारण करेंगे, 11 दफा करेंगे, और आप भी अपने हाथ जोड़ लीजिए, नमन करिए भगवान का। और अब हम शुरू करते हैं। ओम नमो वासुदेवाय नमः। ओम नमो वासुदेवाय नमः। Om Namo Vasudevaya Namah. Om Namo Vasudevaya Namah. Om Namo Vasudevaya Namaha. 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 तो दोस्तों आज हमारी पूजा यहीं पे समाप्त होती है और हम अपना दिन शुरू करेंगे। इस आशा के साथ हम आपसे विदा लेते हैं कि आपका दिन मंगलमय हो। हर हर महादेव। Friends, Nvidia is officially reinventing the PC. At Computex 2026, Jensen Huang unveiled the Nvidia RTX Spark, a revolutionary new ARM-based superchip designed to turn your Windows laptop into a powerful AI agent machine. In this video, we break down everything you need to know about this massive shift in computing. From its Blackwell GPU architecture and 20-core Grace CPU to the game-changing 128 GB of unified memory, the RTX Spark is positioned to take on the biggest name in the industry. We look at how this chip enables 440p AAA gaming, 12K video editing, and the local AI agent processing an ultra slim laptop from partners like Microsoft, Dell, and HP. Let's go. For 40 years, the way we use the computer hasn't really changed. You click, you type, you launch an app, you wait for it to process. It's been a tool, but what if your PC wasn't just a tool anymore? What if it was a teammate? Today at Computex 2026, NVIDIA and the NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang officially announced that the PC is being reinvented. Say hello to NVIDIA RTX Spark, a class of ARM-based superchip. This is set to redefine what we expect from our laptop and a compact desktop. This isn't just an incremental update, it's a full stack integration of a 30 years of NVIDIA innovation, which is CUDA, RTX, DLSS, all shrunk down into a powerhouse meant for a slim all-day battery laptop. So what is the RTX Spark exactly is? It is a custom designed system on a chip built in collaboration with MediaTek. At its core, you're looking at the hybrid architecture. There are several things that we need to look at. First, starting with GPU. It features a Blackwell based RTX GPU with 6144 CUDA cores and 5th generation Tensor cores capable of hitting 1 petaflop of AI performance. Next is the CPU itself. The CPU paired with 20-core Grace CPU connected via NVIDIA NVLink C2C interconnect for lightning fast communication. Third, very important, is the memory. And this is perhaps the most impressive part. It supports up to 120 gigabytes of unified LPDDR5X memory, which is pretty fast. NVIDIA is targeting high-end, thin and light design. Think of 14 to 16 inches laptop, as thin as 14 millimeters and weighing around 1.3 kilogram category. They are promising all-day battery life, which, when you consider the raw performance, is a massive technical leap. But why the Spark name? It's about the agentic era. NVIDIA and Microsoft have been working together for years to build a native window experience for a personal AI agent. Instead of you opening 5 different apps to get work done, the RTX Spark is designed to run these AI agents locally. We are talking about models with 120 billion parameters and 1 billion token context windows, all running right on your device for a maximum privacy. Imagine an agent that can scan your inbox, draft responses, organize your schedule across multiple pieces of software, all without you lifting a finger. Through NVIDIA's OpenShell runtime, this is all handled securely on a local device, removing the latency and the privacy concerns of a cloud-based AI system. So, if you are a creator or a gamer, this chip is a monster. And let's start with creators. And how does it, promote creativity? It has a tie-up with Adobe. Adobe is re-architecting Photoshop and Premiere from the ground up for RTX Spark. We are seeing claims of 2x faster performance in editing, coloring, and generative AI effects. You can render 90 GB plus 3D scene or edit 12K video natively on a laptop. And for gamers, what are the advantages? We are looking at AAA titles running at 1440p resolution at over 100 frames per second with ray tracing enabled by utilizing DLSS and reflex. These machines are punching well above their weight class, closer to middle tier gaming rings from the standard Ultrabook. So when you can get one NVIDIA confirmed that these machines will hit the market this fall. We are talking about partners across the board: Dell, HP, Asus, Lenovo, MSI, and of course Microsoft with their new Surface Laptop Ultra. HP is also bringing the platform to their OmniBook line, and we will even see compact desktop variants. This launch marks NVIDIA's most aggressive entry into the consumer PC space since the early days of Tegra chip. They are going head to head with Apple's M series and Qualcomm Snapdragon X chip, but they are bringing the entire CUDA and RTX ecosystem with them. The era of manual PC is ending and the era of agentic PC is beginning. Whether the RTX Spark becomes the new gold standard for high-end Windows laptop remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: NVIDIA is just shifting the entire industry's trajectory. So friends, what do you think? Is this the upgrade you have been waiting for, or are you holding out for most of the details on the basis of the pricing, on the basis of launch? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Akulmach World for more deep dives into the future of technology. I am CK and I will see you soon, very soon in the next one. हेलो दोस्तों, आपका स्वागत है। नमस्कारम। आज हम अपने बिजनेस सेक्शन में बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट एक सवाल लेके आए हैं। क्या हो अगर ह्यूमंस लूज द एबिलिटी टू लाई? जेनेटिक लेवल पे जो हमारे ह्यूमंस हैं वो झूठ बोलना ही भूल जाए, पॉसिबल ही ना हो। तो इस थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट का हम आज डिस्कशन करेंगे इसके अराउंड, और हम देखेंगे कि अगर ऐसा हो सके कि झूठ बोलना हम बंद कर दें तो सबसे पहले कौन सी इंडस्ट्री बिल्कुल कोलैप्स हो जाएंगी। क्या वो एडवर्टाइजिंग होगी, या कोई पॉलिटिकल कैंपेन, या सेल्स एक्टिविटी जो पूरी तरह कोलैप्स हो जाएगी। और इस फीचर का अगर ऐसा हो सके, जैसे मैंने बताया थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट है, अगर ऐसा हो सके तो हमारी दुनिया की अर्थव्यवस्था, इकोनॉमी में क्या इफेक्ट पड़ेगा। तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं और इस चीज का डिस्कशन करते हैं। इमेजिन करें कि आप सुबह उठें और जो सफेद झूठ है वो फिजिकली इम्पॉसिबल ही हो जाए किसी भी इंसान के लिए बोलना। अब आप ऑफिस जाते हैं और आपका बॉस वहां से पूछता है, भाई हाउ वाज योर वीकेंड, आप कैसे, आपके पिछले 2 दिन कैसे थे? आप पोलाइटली आपको क्या रिप्लाई करना है? आपको रिप्लाई करना है इट वाज ग्रेट एंड थैंक्स फॉर आस्किंग। बट इसकी जगह आप बोल देते हैं, अरे भाई आपकी प्रेजेंटेशन बना रहा था, मिजरेबल था, बहुत ही स्ट्रेस में था, मैं आपकी इसी प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए तैयारी करा था, अभी भी स्ट्रेस में हूं। ऐसा बोलेंगे तो क्या होगा, राइट? तो ऐसा तो हम बोलते नहीं है, हम तो बोलते हैं इट वाज ग्रेट, आई हैड फन। लेकिन अगर ऐसा हो जाए तो क्या हो? तो अभी इमेजिन करें कि जो फिल्टर है, जो झूठ का जो एक फिल्टर हमारी दुनिया में लगा हुआ है, अगर वो हर ट्रांजैक्शन पे लग जाए, हर एडवर्टाइजमेंट पर लग जाए, हर पॉलिटिकल स्पीच में लग जाए तो क्या हो? तो हम एक एक करके इसको एग्जामिन करते हैं, एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं। थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट है ये, और ये इस पे बेस्ड है कि अगर हम झूठ बोलना हमारे लिए पॉसिबल ही ना हो तो कौन सी इंडस्ट्री पे सबसे सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट पड़ेगा? सबसे पहले लेते हैं टाइटन ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री, जो सबसे बड़ा सेगमेंट है वो है एडवर्टाइजिंग। अब एडवर्टाइजिंग में क्या होता है, ये बोला जाता है कि मतलब एडवर्टाइजिंग इज पार्ट ऑफ मार्केटिंग, आपको सबको पता है। तो मार्केटिंग में ये बोला जाता है कि आर्ट ऑफ परसुएशन है ये। मतलब आप एक ही चीज को रिपीट करते 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 100 दफा करें तो ऐसा लगेगा कि हाँ जी, ये जो कंपनी का प्रोडक्ट है बहुत ही अच्छा है। तो जैसे कि कई प्रोडक्ट होते हैं कि 99.9% जम्स रिमूव कर देते हैं, तो 0.1% क्यों नहीं करते, राइट? तो उन्होंने थोड़ी सी गुंजाइश छोड़ी हुई है। हो सकता है कि वो सिर्फ 80% ही करता हो, लेकिन वो सही बता नहीं रहे आपको। इसी तरीके से सबसे बड़ा जो सेगमेंट मेरे हिसाब से है वो वेट लॉस वाला है। वेट लॉस में क्लेम करते हैं ये गोली खा लीजिए और आपके इतने सारे पाउंड जो आपका वेट है वो कम हो जाएगा। आपको नहीं लगता है कि झूठ है ये, कि अगर गोली खा ली और उससे अगर वजन कम होने लगा तो सारे पतले हो गए होते हैं अभी तक? तो ये सबसे बड़ा झूठ है। इस पे इतनी बड़ी मल्टी बिलियन डॉलर की इंडस्ट्री चल रही है, ठीक है, और ये एडवर्टाइजिंग से चल रहा है। तो आप इस चीज को सोचें अगर, तो हर चीज में, एडवर्टाइजिंग में हर चीज के अंदर बिल्कुल ही वाइट लाई, जो सफेद झूठ जिसको हम बोलते हैं, वो परोसा जा रहा है। और हम उसको देख के अपना डिसीजन लेते हैं कि हमें क्या प्रोडक्ट खरीदना है और क्या नहीं। मल्टी ट्रिलियन डॉलर इंडस्ट्री है ये एडवर्टाइजिंग की, दुनिया भर की। और इसके बिना तो हमारी ज़िंदगी चलती ही नहीं है। हम सारे दिन टीवी देखते रहते हैं, उसमें नए नए प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च होते रहते हैं, सब झूठ पे बेस्ड होते हैं, राइट? अगर सोचिए एडवर्टाइजिंग सच्चाई बोलने लग जाए तो हमारा जो हम परचेजिंग करते हैं, जो हम सामान खरीदते हैं, उसका नज़रिया ही, परचेजिंग का जो जो व्यू पॉइंट है वो एकदम चेंज हो जाएगा। और अगर सच ही बोलने लगे सारे के सारे एडवर्टाइजर्स, तो उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा ये आप खुद ही सोचिए, ठीक है? अगर आपके पास कोई और विचार है तो अभी कमेंट करके बताएं। दूसरा जो सेगमेंट है वो है यूज्ड कार सेल्समैन। अब क्या है कि अगर कोई कार बेच रहा है और उसके जो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस हैं वो तब तक ही एप्लीकेबल है जब आपके गैराज में कार है। कार आपने बेच दी और वो गैराज से बाहर चली गई, तो वो तो उसके 1 किलोमीटर के बाद जाके उसका कुछ फेल हो जाएगा तो हम रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं है। लेकिन जब तक वो गैराज में थी तो उसका बेस्ट इंजन परफॉर्मेंस था, हर चीज बेस्ट थी। और अगर यूज कार सेल्समैन सच्चाई बोलने लगे कि भाई इसका ट्रांसमिशन फेल होने वाला है, तभी तो ये बिक रही है गाड़ी, तो वो कोई यूज कार खरीदेगा ही नहीं। तो बिल्कुल ही कार के बारे में, बिल्कुल प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बिल्कुल बताते नहीं है सच्चाई से, और मतलब उसको प्रोडक्ट को बेच देते हैं। तो एक ये हो सकता है, ये मतलब हर चीज में लगता है, मैं एक पर्टिकुलर सेगमेंट को लिया है, लेकिन ये हर चीज में एप्लीकेबल है। प्रोडक्ट के बारे में सच्चाई से बताते नहीं है, और उस सच्चाई की वाइट लाई परोसा जाता है, सफेद झूठ परोसा जाता है। और अगर सच बता देंगे तो वो बैड न्यूज हो जाएगा। तो हर चीज अच्छी अच्छी बताई जाती है और जिसके बाद प्रोडक्ट बेचा जाता है। तो दोस्तों, अगर आप हमारा इस वीडियो यहाँ तक पहुंचे हैं तो बताइए कि आप किस शहर से हमारा वीडियो देख रहे हैं और किस लैंग्वेज में आप इस वीडियो को देखना पसंद करते हैं। तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। अब मैं तीसरी जो इंडस्ट्री लूंगा वो पॉलिटिक्स लूंगा, क्योंकि आप सब जानते हैं कि पॉलिटिक्स बहुत बड़ा सेगमेंट है जिसमें प्रोफाइलिंग की जाती है और परसेप्शन क्रिएट किया जाता है, जो एक एडवांस फॉर्म है एडवर्टाइजिंग का ही। और एक सेल्स, जैसे बोला ना कार सेल्समैन, उन दोनों का हाइब्रिड है ये पॉलिटिक्स। तो क्या होता है जी इसमें, कि जो पब्लिक रिलेशन है वो मेंटेन कर किया जाता है, एक नैरेटिव सेट किया जाता है, बहुत बड़ा एक एडवर्टाइजिंग मार्केटिंग कैंपेन चलाया जाता है। उसमें एडवर्टाइजिंग मार्केटिंग कैंपेन के जो फॉर्मूलाज हैं उनको इम्प्लीमेंट करके एक नैरेटिव क्रिएट किया जाता है। नाउ नैरेटिव कैन बी पॉजिटिव, इट कैन बी नेगेटिव, कि टाइम टू टाइम जब पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा जैसा क्रिएट करना है उसी तरह का नैरेटिव क्रिएट किया जाता है। अब आप सोचिए कि नैरेटिव किया जा रहा है कि अगर मेरी सरकार आ गई तो आपका टैक्स माफ कर दूंगा मैं, या ये चीज आपको दे दूंगा। तो आपको लगता है कि ये कभी हो सकता है? अगर किसी ने बोला कि मैं आपका टैक्स कर दूंगा, लेकिन कैसे करूंगा अगर ये बोल दे, तो पॉलिटिकल जो एजेंडा जो क्रिएट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है वो खत्म हो जाएगी, वोट मिलेंगे ही नहीं। तो क्योंकि अगर ये बोल दे कि अच्छा, मैंने ये बोल तो दिया कि मैं आपका टैक्स काट दूंगा, लेकिन मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं है कि मैं कैसे करूंगा, अगर ऐसा बोल दे कोई पॉलिटिशियंस, तो वो तो उसका कैंपेन ही खत्म हो जाएगा। राइट। तो और इसके अलावा ये पूरा एक एम्बैरेसिंग सिचुएशन भी बन जाएगा। ये भी हो जाएगा कि जो गवर्नमेंट है, दुनिया भर की सारे देशों की गवर्नमेंट है, वो उनकी लेजिटिमेसी पे क्वेश्चन, एक प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़ा हो जाएगा अगर वो सच बता दें। लेकिन ये पूरा का पूरा जो कैंपेन होता है एक वाइट लाई पे बेस्ड होता है, और ये चीज एक कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस पे भी लागू होती है। हर कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस के अंदर हर चीज एक प्रेजेंटेशन की तरह दी जाती है। हमारा वर्किंग एनवायरनमेंट बहुत ही अच्छा है, हमारा खाना बहुत अच्छा है, हमारे होटल का खाना बड़ा अच्छा है। तो इस तरीके की चीजें परोसी जाती हैं। अगर ऑफिस, कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस में अगर सच्चाई का सहारा लेने लगे तो एचआर का जॉब ही खत्म हो जाएगा। जो एचआर है वो हर चीज को बहला फुसला के एम्प्लॉयज को लाते हैं, और अगर किसी को निकालना भी होता है बोलते हैं कि ये तो रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग हो गया जी। रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग में आपकी जॉब चली गई। अगर यहाँ पे ऑनेस्टी दिखाई गई तो कितना बड़ा बवाल हो सकता है इस चीज के अंदर। आप खुद ही सोचिए, जो जोर का झटका जो धीरे से लगता है वो बिकॉज ऑफ वाइट लाई ही लगता है, क्योंकि आदमी को पता ही नहीं चलता कि क्या सच है क्या झूठ है। किस लिए ये हमारे साथ हो रहा है? या तो मेरी तरक्की हो रही है या मेरा डिमोशन हो रहा है, तो क्यों हो रहा है? और अगर ऑफिस बैंकरप्ट हो रहा है तो वो भी इंफॉर्मेशन ठीक तरह से मिलती नहीं है एम्प्लॉयज को। तो ये एक पूरा कंट्रोल्ड तरीके से परोसा जाता है। तो अभी अंत में हम देखते हैं कि अगर व्हाइट लाई, वैसे तो निकलेगा नहीं, हम तो थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हैं, अगर व्हाइट लाई हमारी लाइफ से, हमारे जेनेटिक लेवल पे, हमारे मेकअप से निकल जाए, पूरे प्रोसेस से निकल जाए, तो वो तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं हो पाएगा। इसके अलावा ऐसी कौन सी इंडस्ट्री है जो सरवाइव करेंगे? अगर व्हाइट लाई निकल गया, झूठ बोलने की ताकत अगर निकल गई, तो ऐसी कौन सी इंडस्ट्री है जो सरवाइव करेंगी? देखिए, वो इंडस्ट्री सरवाइव करेंगी जो सच्चाई पे बेस्ड होती है, जैसे कि इंजीनियरिंग, साइंटिफिक रिसर्च, लॉजिस्टिक्स। यहाँ पे अगर आप स्पिन करेंगे कुछ तो वो तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगी। आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि मैंने ब्रिज बना दिया, बहुत ही अच्छा उम्दा ब्रिज बनाया है मैंने। अगर आपने अच्छा ब्रिज नहीं बनाया, वो तो ग्रेविटी विल बेसिकली प्रूव कि आपने ब्रिज, आपका तो गिर गया, राइट। तो इस तरह की जो इंडस्ट्रीज होती हैं दे विल फ्लरिश। साइंटिफिक रिसर्च, इंजीनियरिंग, ये इनमें तो बहुत ज्यादा उछाल आएगा, क्योंकि ये तो आज की डेट में भी झूठ पे बेस्ड नहीं है, ये तो एब्सोल्यूट क्लैरिटी के ऊपर बेस्ड होती हैं ये सारी कंपनी। और जो भी आपकी ट्रांसपेरेंसी और इस तरह की जो इंडस्ट्री होती है वो सरवाइव करेंगे। जिन पे थोड़ा सा भी रहता है कि कुछ एक नैरेटिव क्रिएट किया जा रहा है, वो सब फ्लॉप हो जाएंगी। तो दोस्तों, आप क्या सोचते हैं कि आपको क्या लगता है कि अगर हमारे अर्थ से, हमारे सिविलाइजेशन से अगर झूठ बोलने की जो प्रॉपर्टी है वो निकाल दी जाए तो क्या हो? आपके जो भी विचार हैं, आई एम श्योर कि मेरे विचारों से आपके विचार थोड़े अलग होंगे। तो जो भी विचार हैं आप कमेंट करके लिखिए, हमें बताइए। लेट्स हैव ए डिस्कशन। और दिस वाज ओनली अ थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट, और वैसे आपको पता है ये हो नहीं सकता है, लेकिन ये एक सिर्फ थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट था। और आप इसके बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? आई वुड वेट टू हेयर फ्रॉम यू। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग, एंड आई विल catch you again in the next one. Bye for now. Hello friends, Namaskaram. In today's volatile market, most CEO react to the noise, but the best leader operate from a place of stillness. In this video, we explore why true leadership isn't about suppressing emotion, but about mastering equanimity. We will learn how to remain unshaken by market swings, internal crises, and the constant pressure of the C-suite. Let's go. We often talk about hustle as the primary metrics for CEO. We talk about passion, about drive, about the fire in our belly. But if you have been at the helm of any significant time, you know the truth. The fire that drives you can easily become the fire that consumes you. Today, I want to talk about your greatest business asset. And it isn't your capital, your intellectual property, or even your team. It is your ability to remain equanimous. It is the ability to stand in the middle of the storm, a market crash, a peer crisis, a boardroom battle, and remain entirely unmoved. Today, we are looking at a 5,000-year-old framework for modern executive success. We will take help from Bhagavad Gita. And the verse is verse 56 in chapter 2. Friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now let's continue with our discussion. The verse reads like this, and the quote starts: One is neither overjoyed nor agitated in happiness or suffering, free from desires, craving for pleasures, fear, and anger. One's mind is tranquil. And the quote close. Let's break down for the boardroom. Most leaders are addicted to the win. When the members are up, they are euphoric. When the numbers are down, they are terrified. The volatility is a liability. Why? Because when you are swinging between euphoria and panic, your cognitive capacity drops. You stop seeing the business as it is. You start seeing it through the filter of your own emotional state. Equanimity or the sthiti pragna is not about having no emotions. It's about having a mind that is not owned by them. It is the ability to witness the ups and downs without becoming the passenger to them. Why is this your greatest asset? Because of the decision velocity. When you are agitated by suffering, things like losses, failure, harsh reviews, etc., you make reactive decisions. You cost cut when you should be investing. You fire people when you should be mentoring. You pivot when you should be staying on course. When you are intoxicated by happiness, things like huge wins, record quarter, etc., you make arrogant decisions. You overexpand. You ignore the red flags. Equanimity creates a neutral baseline. Think of it like a shock absorber on a vehicle. If you drive over a bumpy road, and business is bumpy road, of course, without shock absorbers, every single stone you hit shakes the entire chassis. You lose traction, you lose control. Equanimity is the shock absorber. It keeps the vehicle steady so you can keep steering. It allows you to look at a 20% drop in revenue with the same clarity that you look at 20% increase. And that clarity is where the competitive advantage is found. You are probably wondering, this sounds like philosophy, but how do I do this on a Monday morning? And here are the 3 practical steps that you can follow. And number 1 is the pause protocol. When a fire hits your desk, an urgent, high stress email forces a 2-minute gap before you respond. The Gita suggests that the mind is tranquil when it is free from immediate craving to fix it or the fear of result. Use the gap to separate the event from your interpretation. Next, number 2 is outcome decoupling. Practice doing your job with 100% intensity, but give yourself a permission to be detached from the outcome. Work as if you control everything, but accept that you control very little. The sounds paradoxical, isn't it? But it works. It removes the fear of failure, which is the biggest blocker to innovation. And lastly, the third person perspective. In the middle of the crisis, ask yourself, if I were a consultant looking at this company from outside, what would I advise? This instantly moves you from the agitated player to the tranquil observer. I know what some of you may be thinking. If I'm not overjoyed or agitated, am I not losing my edge? Don't I need that fire? There is a massive difference between apathy and equanimity. Apathy is, I don't care. Equanimity is, I care deeply, but I am not enslaved by the result. The most dangerous CEO are the ones whose ego is tied to the stock price. The most powerful CEOs are the ones whose identity is tied to their mission. When your mission is bigger than your ego, you don't need the high of the wind to keep going, and you aren't crushed by the low of the losses. That is the sustainable leadership. That is the only way to build a legacy that lasts. The world is noisy. It is designed to make you react. It is designed to pull you into volatility. Your job as a leader is to be the eye of the storm. You can cultivate that state of mind where you are present, focus, and unshakable. You will not only make better decisions, you will also create culture of stability for your team. Leadership isn't about how high you can jump during a good time. It's about how level you can keep your head when everything else is losing theirs. So, friends, start today. Don't react, observe, and watch how your business changes when you bring the power of equanimity to the table. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across. And I will catch you again in the next one.
Hello, friends. We are deconstructing the sophisticated hydraulic mastery etched into a very bastion of Vijayanagar Empire. By tracing hidden stone channels and forgotten cisterns, we reveal the blueprint of ancient superpower. See how the imperial engineers harnessed the chaotic force of nature to sustain a city of millions against all odds. So, hidden beneath the scorched granite of Hampi lies a secret that kept an empire alive. While the monsoon rains once threatened to drown this city, the Vijayanagar engineers did the impossible. They weaponized the water and discovered the subterranean stone conduct that turned a seasonal deluge into a display of absolute liquid power. So let's find out more about it. The story of Vijayanagar's rise is not about kings. It is not about temples or army. It is actually equally about water. Hidden beneath the grandeur of its palaces and the sacred geometry of its shrine lays a secret network of channels, reservoirs, and aqueducts that transformed a rocky plateau into a beating heart of mighty empire. This hydraulic marvel was the silent architect of prosperity, feeding fields and sustaining cities and ensuring the resilience against the drought in a land where the Tungbhadra river alone could not actually sufficient. So the engineers of Vijayanagar understood the terrain like poet understand the rhythm. They carved the channel from Tungbhadra, bending in its flow into intricate arteries that carries life across the miles of granite and scrub. So these channels fed massive tanks, something like pushkarnis, the simmering like a mirror beside a temple, not only serving ritual purity, but also acting as a reservoir for civic life. The Kamalpura tank and the Tattu canal and the Grand Haria canals were more than a feast of engineering, and they were a lifeline that allowed the rice, sugarcane, the cotton to flourish in abundance. Agriculture became the empire's backbone, and the surplus grain became its currency of power. But this was not something like a crude utility system. The water work were woven into the spiritual and aesthetic fabric of the city. Temple tanks reflected the gopurams in their still water, while stepped walls invited both ritual immersions and practical use. The hydraulic system was designed with redundancy, and if one canal flattered, another carried the burden. This was a philosophy of resilience and anticipating scarcity and turning it into abundance. In this way, Vijayanagar's rulers ensured that their capital spread across miles of stone and dust and remained a thriving oasis. So, friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. So now let's continue with our discussion. The brilliance of this network lay in its invisibility. Unlike towering fort walls or monumental sculptures, the canal whispered their presence. They were embedded in the landscape, blending with the boulders and the field, and their genius revealed only when one traced the flow of water from river to tank to crop. So this quiet infrastructure sustained armies, artisans, and pilgrims alike, making Vijayanagar not just a city of stone but a city of substance. When foreigner travelers like Domingo Pias and Fernão Nunes visited, they marveled not only the bazaars and temples but at the sheer abundance of food and water. They saw a city where the scarcity had been conquered by design, where the prosperity was engineered into the land itself. The hydraulic system was empire's invisible crown, ensuring that Vijayanagar could withstand seas, drought, and time. Today, as ruins lie scattered across Hampi's landscape, the remnant of this water network still we can found its presence after monsoon rains. The canals carved into granite, tank that still hold water, and field that still bear crops remind us that the empire are built not only on conquest but on the quiet mastery of nature. So Vijayanagar's hydraulic marvel were the secret veins of empire, carrying life through the stone and proving that water, more than gold or army, is the true foundation of civilization. So the tale of Vijayanagar water network closes not with the silence but with the lingering echo of ingenuity. The empire's canals and tanks and aqueducts were more than stone and flow. They were the veins of civilization that understood how to turn a harsh landscape into a cradle of abundance. In their quiet persistence, these hydraulic marvels remind us that the power is not only forged into battles or carved in temples, but also in the unseen current that sustain life. Even in the ruins, the remnant of this network whisper the resilience and foresight. They stand as testimony to a vision that bound nature, human with into a harmony, proving that empire rise not merely on conquest but on a wisdom of nurture. So Vijayanagar's secret water system was its invisible empire builder, a legacy etched in granite and flowing while still in the memory, and enduring lesson that the true strength of civilization lies in how it sustains its people. So we have come to the end of this discussion. Please like and subscribe our channel, and we look forward for your comment on this topic. So see you in the next one. Till then, bye.
Hello friends and namaskaram. Did you know the sunglasses